Okay. Well, this is a first. Akanji as better known from as AK.
That's right.
Um, do you always go with the award-winning actor, director, producer,
Yeah,
or do you?
I try to just don't try and make me jump through hoops and do stupid stuff. You know what I mean? Like you've got to put some sauce on the name. Otherwise, point. You know. So yes, I'll take that. I'll take
Yeah. I mean, I mean, we spoke about your music and sorry, about your film and acting and stuff, but the music part. I mean, some people might not realize that you're actually into production and into creating music.
Yeah, I do. Like I am. Like that's what I spend if I'm not like writing or like on set or whatever. I'm spending most of my time like writing music. It's just something I've just always done and I love.
Wow.
It's my heart. We were talking because we did a podcast the other day, which is gonna
Yeah.
come out at some point, and there just wasn't enough time because my mind meandered all the corners, but like music is one of the core corners that goes into. Like I'm not very like loud about music on the internet in terms of like people have often said, "Oh, you need a music podcast," and I'm kind of like we're podcasted out. You know, there's one too many kind of good podcasts, but it's good to get invited on to other people's like yourselves who are you're doing amazing things in this space and talk. But yeah, I love music. It's the first thought of my day, and it's actually
Wow.
first love, man.
My goodness. I mean, for anyone who hasn't watched Famila,
Yeah, Famalam. Yeah.
I know the one that went viral a couple of years ago was the "Who's the Birthday Girl."
It was the birth.
Even in America, it went viral as well.
Which is insane, which is nice when people send that and all that, and they sing the song and all that type of stuff. But that's just like Famalam was my dream kind of creation, really, because I was able to make music for it.
Mm.
Make music, sit around and write tunes. Like if we needed a replacement for a song, if like people wanted to charge us like 10 grand to play 2 seconds of their music, I'm like, all right, cool. I can go do a version of this legally, so I don't get like fall afoul of the Robin Thicke, Marvin Gaye estate. You know what I mean, I'm savvy enough. I'm savvy enough to do that. Um, yeah.
Yeah, but then also, I remember you did it was the drill, so sort of what's this, the
Oh,
drill where the
yeah, the two gangs like going back and forth. Like, yeah, so
yeah,
that was mine. We had like a couple, like we had like what do we have? We had an interracial couple song where we kind of interpolated Hot Chocolate's Sexy Thing. So I did a version of that. There's just basically any musical numbers in Famalam. I wrote them. Midsummer Motherfucking Murders, the song that I'm singing that I wrote and played that song. So
my goodness.
music is my life, man.
What is the but how did Michael Jackson play any influence on your music?
How could he not? How could he not, man? Like, do you know what? There's two things. It's like I've had to change my background, but like just to rep Michael, rest in peace. But no, it's like Eddie Murphy. There's an Eddie Murphy poster on the back of Beverly Hills Cop, and in the living room is the Michael. I've basically got this in my living room. This
Wow.
in '84 thing. But it was those two things as a kid from like 3 4 years old. We had Beverly Hills Cop, and we had like a tape of Moonwalker. I think it
Oh
was
yeah,
in the living room. We had Moonwalker and we had Michael Jackson, The Legend Continues, which is the I think they made that in '88. They made that in '88, and it was like a kind of Showtime presentation of the Jackson. So we had those two. We had those kind of presentations, Moonwalker and that Legend Continues, and it was just like, who is this guy? Who is this guy? And so those are my two loves. So you got Eddie Murphy on one side, and then you got my
Mm.
and all my musical love spawns from loving Michael Jackson and music, and and his music as a child, and then his music as a teenager, and his music as an adult, and just that he's just a fascinating thing. And also this real thing because we forget because of how big Michael is. Michael's black. No, he's a black icon, and we have to. It's so important that we as black people like say that first.
Mm.
So it just so happens I find it so funny that like Michael Jackson became everyone's, but actually he did so much for like there's people older than me that like black pride, like post civil rights,
Mm.
like anchored in like, oh, Michael Jackson's the guy, Jackson 5, big afros,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
kind of things that we have to kind of, obviously you need to kind of, you shouldn't look at celebrities for your self pride, but Michael Jackson did so much. We have to remember that Michael Jackson was a black man. The Jacksons were big nosed black people in Gary, Indiana. Like, let's have that. So there's a lot of pride that comes from that. So if you're a little young black boy growing up and you see this kid that the young version of Michael, you're like, oh, that could be me. Just in the same way as like when I was little and I used to see the Ian Wrights or anyone like that, any representation of like a black, of black men and women doing something at the highest level, just you believe you can do it yourself. So, but anyway, don't let me ramble.
No. I think for me, I think I do remember seeing reruns of the Jackson 5 cartoon.
So you're taking it to a place that I can't take it to because that's
Yeah, no, but
way.
it was reruns though. So it was the rerun. So it wasn't. Yeah, I never watched them when they're around. And I think when I was when we moved to Nigeria, when the Thriller album came out, every place you went to, it was big in Nigeria.
Yeah.
And I think I don't know if I've appreciated the fact that that album was global, because we talk about, yeah, it's got drove the sold over 100 million, but I do remember every party you went to were playing PYT and One Be Starting Something. I mean, it was an album that wasn't just an American and a European thing. It was something that's and I think about Nigeria and thinking, wow, they were selling the tapes because we didn't have CDs back then,
Yeah.
and the impact he had. And even my kids now, who were born after he died, if I play stuff, they say, "Oh yeah, that's Michael Jackson," and it's like, wait, but you never saw him, but yet you can hear his voice and know it's him, and that's the impact of somebody who is just transcended. And
it's energy, isn't it? Its energy is fascinating because that same phenomenon happened with my nieces, nephews, and my godchildren. My godsons, they live in Bristol, and I mean I have a lot of godchildren, but my friend Marvin's children, they live in Bristol, and I remember Alexander, who's got the same birthday as me, November 1st. He, for one of his birthdays, maybe his fourth birthday, he was just dressed up in the kind of classic Michael Jackson Billie Jean advert. It was like transfixed and just trying to imitate that kind of Billie Jean routine. And he didn't know why his parents had not said, he just was like, I want that. And it's so interesting how people gravitate towards stuff, but magic is like eternal, isn't it? Magic is eternal.
Yeah.
It's like, and it's something so special when you get an amazing performer, particularly one who is no longer with us. When they capture something and it stays in the recorded medium, whether it's CD, vinyl, even the visual medium, it's like it speaks to the power of gifts and energy. Energy is never lost, man. It just continues throughout.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Benson, a massive Michael Jackson fan. He's spoken about how many times he's gone to see him live, and one of the funny things he mentioned was that he and his sister, they flew to Australia to watch Michael perform, and then this was during the dangerous stuff.
Wow.
And then when he pops up with the stuff,
the toaster, they call it.
His sister fainted and missed the entire show.
Yeah, I can understand that. So I've seen so a lot of my friends are in music. Like a lot of my really, really good friends, like they're like they look after kind of whether it's WizKid or they look after this one and that one, tours, stage management, all that type of stuff. Shout out to Toby and Wes and Tops and all those guys. and they were looking after I'm not going to say the group, but it was a young group, a young rap group, and they had a concert that was full and all that type of stuff, and actually saw the bays of there's a bay for people who might have been passed out or anything.
Okay, yeah.
I think people were faking it because those people, I don't see why those people would have been passing out. I was like, why are these people faking it? Like, I can understand why people would pass out for Michael Jackson. I would pass out. I get it because it's also just old school spell casting. Like, this man has the economy of movement. When you see him on stage, when you see those videos, he's not doing much. He comes, he's silent for like a whole minute, 2 minutes, and does nothing, and every flinch becomes magnetized. And I understand it. It was really interesting after he passed. I remember there was so many, like, immediately after he passed, there was all these essays and op-eds about the magic behind him. And actually there was this conversation about the glove, about where the glove came
Originated from, yeah.
Yeah, and the idea behind it. I wish I still had the article, but it was basically so that you're on stage here, and then 200 meters back, they can see you're accentuating your silhouette and your movements through this like white rhinestone glove. And what it's doing, so Michael Jackson's stagecraft and his attention to detail and him being a student of dance and of the history of performance. Because when you look at everything and you kind of go like, all right, well, he didn't create the moonwalk. Like Jerome Casper Candidate taught him that, just like Jeffrey Daniels, they all taught him that. Bill Bailey did the moonwalk years before. But you look at the Billie Jean routine, that's like some isn't that like a Fred Astaire, Gene Kelly thing? You know what I mean? That's a Gene Kelly thing, and he's taken some of that. He's taken some of the 50s. Even the fact that he's got this imaginary comb.
Yeah.
Where's that comb? Mimes that. He's got the white socks, which are so like 50s grease.
Yeah. Those 50s musicals.
And then you look at Smooth Criminal video, look at all these things. What he was a genius at doing was he was a student of the game. And like just in that Billie Jean performance, he was taking so many elements that became staples of his repertoire and just combining them to make something. He was sampling culture in a certain way, because if you also think about him as a student of like Jackie Wilson and James Brown, he was like, a lot of James Brown's moves got him through the late 60s and early 70s, where it was like the camel walk or like the stanky leg or whatever. Like Jackson took all those, made his own moves, man. Made his own moves. He was a genius.
But he doesn't shy away. He doesn't pretend as if he came up with it.
He doesn't.
He pays homage to everybody.
He always does, and he's always in reverence. And it's always that that video that like it was BT Awards, I think it was like 08, 07, 08, and it was James Brown. Like,
yeah.
And you can see the way Michael Jackson's voice shakes when he talks about no one's influenced me more than this man.
Yeah.
It's the child. It's the child that like was doing the Chitlin circuit with James Brown. Who's in awe of this man. Like, Michael Jackson's gone around the world, and like there's some people who get really big and they can't front on their mentor. There's no you can't front on Michael Jackson, but like that's James Brown. You can't front on your mentor at all. Like, so you could see the glee in him. And then there's also the video of like, I think it's like 83, him performing, and James Brown calls him on stage.
With that, Prince is there as well. Yeah,
kind of sets Prince up to kind of embarrass himself. Like, you can just see Michael's a student of it, and he loves these people. He loves Jackie Wilson. He just loves magic and magic. But it's all so funny because I go back to what I said at the beginning, which is that like Michael Jackson is ultimately he's black and he's rooted. We forget, because of how big he is, he's rooted in the blackest of blackest African-American traditions, which is the Chitlin circuit and that whole, that he's from the Midwest. He's from Gary, Indiana. We forget that these are kids from Gary, Indiana, a steel town, one of the blackest, most working class areas in America, and they are from that. So it actually informs so much of their story, and we don't have to go into the kind of like deeper, the depths of the Jackson family stuff, but it informs so much of it, because a lot of like Michael Jackson's success and the Jackson success is like against all odds, if you see what I'm saying.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like he danced his way out of kind of poverty, because like on a certain level, Michael Jackson could be like alive and be a 70-year-old man from Gary, Indiana, with his original nose, and just be like a guy from Gary, Indiana. But the world would have been robbed of like this.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I mean, if you think of and when I was preparing for this, and I listened through
Oh, you prepared? Oh, damn.
I went through, I started with I started with Off the Wall, went through all of them, and I actually had a different appreciation for Dangerous, which I hadn't had in many years. And then I'm listening to Remember the Time, and I remember the video.
Yeah.
And at the time, you just didn't realize that he was trying that video and that song reconnected him to, because I was in the States, living in the States
with black folk in a
it
real,
was like, oh, okay, he remembers us.
In a really clever way.
Yeah.
In a really clever way. So just because we'll go to that in a second, what I was going to ask was, what constitutes, because I should have asked you beforehand, what constitutes as, are we going, is Michael solos, or is it like Jackson's up? Because we could do it, like,
I wanted to do his solos, and actually,
can we go childhood solos? Because some of my,
okay, so you wanted to do,
I wanted
to be there, Ben,
no, not Ben. Like, but I will go to the album Ben, because weirdly my appreciation for Michael, and this is not me just trying to sound deeper than I am. Like, I, as a kid, found those albums. They weren't my parents' albums. Like, my parents like reggae, Bob Marley, Gregory Isaacs, and they was into country and western and stuff like that. Like, so the MJ stuff I found, but I found it through J5 and Michael solos.
Okay.
So I have an appreciation of like Michael, like Kid Michael, I think is like one of the greatest vocalists to ever live.
Yeah.
So if you'll allow me, some of the songs,
definitely,
that thing. But back to what you're saying about the Dangerous album is like, and Remember the Time in particular, it's like that was a time where I think he was going for a lot of media scrutiny as well, because his skin had changed even more drastically between like the end of I mean the sort of bad offering, and then Black or White. That video and that statement and that whole thing was a whole thing, because we're like, this isn't the kid that how did this happen? What was this metamorphosis about? So very interesting, very, very interesting kind of thing. So the Remember the Time thing, taking it back to Egypt, getting John Singleton to direct it, basically the some big black stars of their day,
Magic Johnson, Eddie Murphy, your guy Eddie Murphy, Iman, got the Uptown dancers, so Big Les, Fatima, they did all the Fad MC, so they was like, let's take it to the hood. I mean, normally he goes with his pops, but he went, he got the Uptown, the people who did all the Uptown videos.
And it was so apt that he did that, because between those albums there was a transition for him, like just in terms of, it was a big risk, him leaving Quincy at that period of time, because bearing in mind, at the end of I think it was the end of 89, beginning of 90, just after the tour finished, he fired Frank Dilio, and then he also fired John Branca, and then he went with Sandy Gallen at the request or suggestion of Jeffrey Katzenberg, and David Geffen, who were like his
guys. Okay,
yeah, they were his guys. So he went with Sandy Gallen, who was like a kind of big entertainment manager, or whatever. But so it was a risk, and then he got rid of Quincy. Like, they parted ways, but I think it was Quincy apparently who suggested go with Teddy Riley. But that was a big kind of thing. And Michael had his team of like in-house producers. He had Matt Barnes, Brad Buxer, people like that, who were like his kind of core thing. And then I think they started working on some of those Skeleton Dangerous tracks. But going with Teddy was a big statement. Because it was like New Jack Swing had it had blackdom in a grip, and and it went from Michael being like the king of the 80s to like kind of on the back foot a little bit. And Janet
Mm.
started that march because
Yeah, with that Rhythm Nation
yeah,
album.
but Bad is actually kind of a response to Control in a certain way, because it's kind of a response to like, oh, I need to try and get kind of grounded in some way. And then, but yeah, Rhythm Nation came out and Michael was just like, all right, cool, well, what are we gonna do? So a lot of that industrial sound of Dangerous owes a lot to Rhythm Nation. But like, it was Dangerous, you could sort of do a whole podcast about like the cultural shift in music around that time, and how like the media thing that Michael was able to do, which was like control the media with these stories. The world was like, no, we don't care about that no more. We want Pendleton sweaters on two sides. We want Pendletons for Nirvana, and we want Pendletons for the guys in the LA neighborhoods. So gangster rap, grunge, and that's what Dangerous was caught between: gangster rap, grunge, and obviously New Jack Swing as well. And like Dangerous kind of came in between that, and he did an amazing job with Dangerous.
Yeah.
I always argue with a friend of mine, Francis Ezekiel, because he's a huge Michael Jackson fan. We argue about Dangerous, and I say like it's 2 songs shy of being perfect. It's like if they got rid of 2 songs, kept it tighter, because I honestly think there's 2 versions of one song on that album, and people are gonna hate me for it, but I think like Keep the Faith is a great song, but you can't have Keep the Faith and Will You Be There on the same album. That's what
Yeah, and I think that was so. When I interviewed Rodney Jerkins
yeah,
around not Dangerous and also Invincible.
sure.
Invincible had 4 songs that they shouldn't. We all both agreed shouldn't have been there, because the more songs you have on it, so it then dilutes, and that's why Thriller was so good. Is just like just kept it so tight.
Thriller is basically a greatest hits album. If you think
Yeah,
about it, you can play Thriller and rock the party. You can play Off the Wall and rock the party. Minus like you took She's Out of My Life out of it just because you want to keep the mood up. But just in terms of it being a movement, like Thriller, you can rock a whole party off of that. And
yeah.
and to the Invincible point, it's like you get rid of the whole midsection. You get rid of like 2000 Watts. You get rid of Speechless. You get rid of You Are My Life. You get rid of Lost Children. I think the most interesting song is
Little Susie, yeah.
the most
You Are
interesting
My Life. Yeah.
You Are My Life is like, why is this on here? You've done that record already. It's so schmaltzy. And anyway, but the most interesting song on the album to me is Whatever Happens.
Yeah, Carlos Santana.
Yeah, it's the most interesting song because vocally he's different. I don't know what they did to his voice or whatever, but he sounds a lot. He's using a lower register, or they've done some effect on his voice. But that's like adult contemporary Michael. It's cool that Santana guitars on it,
Yeah.
licks and solo at the end. But it's like the album wants to be so many different things, because you start off with Unbreakable, which is an incredible Rodney Jerkins track. That you start with that, and that's dope. And then you go to that Heartbreaker, which I don't like that song. And then you go to Invincible, which is another version of Unbreakable. And then you go into Philly. So you go into like that.
When you start getting Break of Dawn and you get Butterflies.
And that little pocket. And then you're going into You Rock My World. But I think there's a version of that album where you do Heaven Can Wait, Break of Dawn, Butterflies, and center it around that. And you're similar. You're not going to sell as many records in 2001, but you're going to appeal to your black audience in a way that like you kind of needed to at that point. That's
do. So I mean, I think and I did I said to Rodney that if you had just done 10 songs, and my other issue was that album was maybe 18 months too late. The music,
it was 4 years too late.
At least.
It might have been 4 years too late, because
with the Rodney productions.
Yeah, when did Never Say Never come out? Was that 98 or 97?
That was 2000. No, that was about 98.
98. And then It's Not Right, But It's Okay is around that same pocket of time.
Yeah.
If instead of Blood on the Dance Floor, Michael had given like Invincible then,
Invincible. Yeah,
it
it would have been so different.
well, it changes the world. But off the back of Rodney's success with both Brandy and Whitney, and then like even 99 would have been fine to come out with this
Yeah,
album.
no, I think 99 would have just been the right time.
That would have been fine. But by 2001,
The music had
R&B's,
changed.
R&B's changed, pop culture's changed, the ability, and it goes back to like media manipulation. You don't have the same ability that you once had to control the story.
Yeah.
And that's another intangible about my. Well, it's not an intangible. It's just a very clear thing about Michael's thing is that the storytelling in the media sense is such a key component. And in the 90s and 2000s, he couldn't wrestle. He couldn't do the same things he did in the 80s. And anyway, with musically, I just don't think. I saw it said recently. Someone said like, if Invincible's his worst album, how could it be with all these songs? And it's got some great songs on it, but
No, I actually I prefer Invincible to History. And if I was ranking my five
al- yeah,
albums from Off the Wall to Invincible, I think I would have at the Thriller would be number one. Um, Up to recently, I would have had Off the Wall, but I'd listened to Dangerous again. I thought actually I prefer Dangerous than Off the Wall. I would go Invincible, then I'll go Bad,
Dangerous.
um, and then History would be number six.
Yeah.
How would your order go?
Ooh. All right, we're going adult solos because to be honest,
Yeah, the adult solos, yes, the adult one.
because the Motown ones, they weren't really they didn't have a cohesive kind of thing to them. So I would say I'd always go Off the Wall because I think
That's
that's
number one.
yeah. Overall, it's just his best vocal performances. It's his most pure vocal performances as an adult and his blackest, like steeped in like just soul vocal tradition and it's also if you look at like Bruce Swedeen's got this great book called In the Studio with Michael. It's a great book because it just talks about like miking and mic placement on drums and all this type of stuff. But it also just talks about some musical theory. So it talks about how Quincy did rearranged music, like transposed songs that had been written just to give Michael more a purchase on his vocal range so he could sound sexy as an adult. You see what I'm saying? So it's like he was very deliberate about like the arrangement of I Can't Help It or like with Don't Stop Till You Get Enough. So you get this sexy young 21-year-old vocal of like this is a man coming out. So I think like it shows in like that whole album, like the vocal performances are flawless. You feel something. I'd do that one Off the Wall. It's tricky because like Thriller and Bad are so they're brilliant albums equally. They're brilliant albums. It's interesting because say if Bad didn't have if they had a different duet with Stevie, that could go higher because Just Good Friends is probably the wrong duet for those two guys.
Yeah.
But I might go. I'll put Thriller. I'll just do Thriller second. I'll do Thriller.
Okay.
I lived with it as a like 9-10-year-old. I got it. I got Thriller for my like first Holy Communion. That was my first. When I was 7. I got as a ZD. So like, yeah, I mess with Thriller. So I'll put Thriller because Thriller's amazing. You can't. I think it's the ironic choice to diss Thriller because it's the most successful album in the world of all time. But like, it's a good number 2. And then Bad's amazing, man.
Okay.
Bad is amazing. So it's almost the order that it goes in.
Oh, is that how it is for you? Okay.
Classic thing. And then Dangerous is so dope. So Dangerous 4. Then I'm just literally just doing it in the order, actually, to be fair.
You go History over Invincible.
Yeah, I put History over Invincible. I think I
Wow.
remember. So History was the first Michael album that I was old enough to go out and purchase myself in real time. Like
Okay.
Dangerous, My cousins, if they watch this, they're going to hear it. So my uncle Christopher was the music man in our house. He used to go to West End all the time to get, Makosa and all this type of stuff. He had all the music. But I remember, like, I stole the tape off Uncle Christopher. He doesn't even know this. So I have Dangerous on tape but it wasn't me going out and purchasing it. I remember when Scream dropped, I used the little money I had saved up as like a 9-year-old to go out and buy that. Because Scream was backed with Childhood, so it was like a double A side, whatever.
Yeah.
And in the actual album history, I remember going out and buying it, and so that was my first I'm buying my album in real time. So then I put History, and then I put Invincible above Blood on the Dance Floor, because I think overall, Blood on the Dance Floor lost me. The actual song's cool, but the song felt like it could have been a strong offering on History. It could have been a really strong offering on the History album, but the whole album, I was just like, Michael.
I didn't understand why they did that.
I didn't understand it, and actually, it's not it's not a hindsight thing. It's actually something I felt in real time. It was like Michael's on the decline, because it didn't feel like an event, like anything. So like Blood on the Dance Floor might be last, and I put Invincible before that. But then the posthumous ones, I don't even count Michael. I think that's a terrible album. I think it's a disgusting album. Right? Like, there's that song Hollywood Tonight where they steal the drums off of they jack the drums off of Billie Jean so we can sort of feel Michael. And it's just a whack album, man.
Yeah, I don't.
I know Teddy was involved, but I just got to speak my truth. It was a dreadful album. However, Escape, I actually quite like.
Okay.
I actually quite like Escape, because that was Timbaland and Danger Hands, and I think L.A. Reid had overseen it. But there's a song on there called Loving You, which was kind of done from one of the demos, maybe like his 86 demos, home demos, whatever. And they remixed Loving You. And Loving You it's a kind of pipe dream of like what Michael would have sounded like in 2014 over Timbaland and Danger Hands.
Yeah.
It's a sweet song. It's a groove. I like it. So I Escape's good. But then posthumous albums.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, if he didn't
sanction it,
then they'll put it out there. Yeah. I think the reason why I would. So I'm a massive Teddy fan. So Teddy Riley. So when you put my favorite producer with my favorite singer, of course I'm expecting magic. And as Blood on the Dance Floor was supposed to actually be on the Dangerous album, there's a video showing Bruce Sudin and Michael saying, okay, we're going to put Blood on the Dance Floor, then we put
like they were organizing
and Blood on the Dance Floor was supposed to be on the Dangerous album.
That would have been revolutionary in 90. If that had dropped on the Dangerous album, that would have been crazy.
With Someone Put Your Hand Out. That was
your hand out.
That was also supposed to be there. And I think if you had then started to put those songs in, and then you taken away Gone Too Soon, you take away Keep the Faith, you take away some of those, then you start having a very different album.
And your album is centered on groove, because if you think about the first 4-5 songs of that album are just groove. Groove. To Why You Want to Trip on Me, In the Closet, to Shit Drives Me Wild.
I actually like Who Is It? I mean, the whole.
You're spoiling my list now. You're spoiling my list. Who Is It is crazy, but the craziest thing about Who Is It is the kind of single they released after the Oprah Winfrey interview.
Give In to Me.
No. I'm saying, when he did the beatbox, the acapella of Who Is It? They released a version. They released a remix version of Who Is It, just in response to that. Like, Who Is It? Who Is It's a crazy song. But Even to Me is basically Michael's reaction to Nirvana. It's a grunge song.
Yeah, but as much as I mean, at the time, as I said, the whole album was an event for me, but I think I fell out of love with it, and then until I listened to all of it again, and it's like, oh my goodness, the sounds, I love Dangerous because of the you put it so loud and just listen to the beat, the drum just
It's incredible. That snare, the way the snare cracks, it cracks in only a way a Michael Jackson kind of production can. It's like one of those things that I'm sure like engineers, will look at it on like a waveform, or they'll look at it on the meter. And I'm sure when they recorded it, everything was in red, but somehow they've just compressed it so it doesn't distort, because that thing bangs loud.
So I've interviewed John Marie, who was the engineer on there alongside Teddy, and he's Teddy's engineer, and he was on there, and he's saying how he needs it loud. Teddy always has this stuff loud, and so when I was driving back from a function on Thursday night, and I was just playing it loud. I'm thinking I could just kind of imagine this on massive speakers, how dangerous that particular track, and I like the fact it's 6 minutes long, and they were going to do the video, but then the whole
scandal
case, and then they just
If you think about it, like he has a whole chat at the beginning, her hair, her lines. Like, what are you doing? Like, come on, crazy. But you know what? I remember what intrigued me most about the album was when you take out the inlay card, the CD inlay card, whatever, and you look at the cover artwork really informs how music makes you feel. Like, it's not a surprise, it's no coincidence rather that like on that cover, on the sort of lower regions, you're looking at all this piping and all this like industrial factory work. When I hear Dangerous, my brain immediately goes to that. I'm thinking like, oh, this is like a factory. I can't really describe it. There's just so many different layers and levels, and I think the music matched the visuals, and that's like, he's a genius for that. He's an absolute genius. Like In the Closet couldn't have been anything but that video. That kind of like sepia toned Spanish stucco building kind of thing with Naomi Campbell. And it's
goodness, that just, I wanted him to do more dancing in that. He just had his one little spot in there.
Those skanks are incredible. Those skanks, because to this day, I can't do those skanks. He's doing all this type of stuff. He's the greatest dancer of the 20th century. He just was. Look at his physique and how he pops and like his lines. That was an incredible, greatest dancer of the 20th century. Like just without a doubt.
Okay. I mean, we start at number 12. I mean, what? I mean, I did a list up to 20 just in case.
I've got a bunch of them. And it's
okay. What would you want to start off with?
So let's start with Butterflies.
Oh no! Oh no! So we're going from the bottom up.
Oh, from the bottom up. Oh, okay, all right, fine.
Yeah, we'll start from the bottom up.
It's like, so you're going like what I think is So let's do that. So I'd say like Butterflies
will be what number what for you?
12.
Oh, okay. Wow.
It's not because it's because there's ones that are more, they mean more to me. So I just want to preface it by saying it's not like, it's not definitive, and this is just stuff that how it's impacted me and all that, and I'll give also just my kind of cultural reasonings behind it for these things. But yeah, it's a tough list because there's quite a lot of them, and I might kind of live edit them. But Butterflies was like, to me, his last real classic record, like classic. Like we've talked about Heaven Can Wait, and we've talked about Break of Dawn, and they're actually getting a lot of love from like Gen Z and actually Gen Y, like my generation, like having, from the kind of 20 plus year vantage point of like, oh, these songs actually bang. These songs actually, like all those songs are great and what have you, but with Butterflies, he had Dre and Vidal producing, and it was written by Marsha from Floetry, and I mean Floetry in general. I don't know the specifics, but Marsha, I heard Marsha's demo. I say Marsha like I know her, but
okay, I thought
no.
She's so
Marsha Ambrosius, the legendary herself, the songstress. It had her, I've heard her demo and it's amazing, and like I kind of feel, and I said this earlier in our chat, that like it would have been a brave thing, it would have been an interesting thing for Michael to do a "Let Me Go Back Home" record, which is like, and I think Arthur Jaffe said something like this similar in NPR years ago. But you have just like, let's take it back to blackness. Like, forget the pop stuff, forget the NSYNCs and the Britneys and all that. You're black, Mike. Let's take it back. So, and he's got, he has history with Philadelphia. Like the Jacksons, when they signed to Epic, the first two records were recorded in Philly with Mother, Father, Sister, Brother, with Gamble and Huff. Like they have those, the Jacksons LP and Going Places were both recorded in Philly. So he's got roots in that place. So like roots, see what I did there? He's got roots in that place. I think Butterflies to me is like, oh, you're going back home. Like, this is great. And it's him. You rarely in later Michael records hear him doing melisma and runs. Very rare him sounding like that soulful throughout the album. He's doing like nice little runs. He does a few on Invincible, the actual title track, but like you feel it. You feel like, for all people who were just like, oh, Michael wasn't into women and you feel like, oh, this is Michael serenading. This is Michael in his serenading mode, and the song is the groove is so gorgeous. And, the groove is really, really gorgeous, and his vocals are incredible.
Yeah, his falsetto.
Yeah, I think it's his best vocal performance. It might be his best vocal performance on the album to me. And yeah, I love that record, because when I heard it, because I was quite disappointed. I was like, I think I was about 14, 15 when it came out, and sacrilege, but You Rock My World didn't rock my world in the same way when it first came out as a single. And it was only because, and I love Rodney Jerkins to life, but it was only because I was like, this just sounds like a Rodney Jerkins song featuring Michael, and so anyway, the Butterflies just felt like, oh, this is a classic Michael soul record in the tradition of off the wall kind of, that kind of thing. So it has a lot of kind of sentimental kind of value for me. So I'd put that there, and it's not Michael's got hundreds of records. So it's like I'm saying this is, rubbish. It's a brilliant record. But if I had to choose with a gun to my head out of the 12, I'd be like, cool, put this as number 12.
Okay. I mean, with it's interesting because speaking to Rodney, I'm saying, yeah, Rodney, I didn't feel You Rock My World. I thought Mike always comes with the heavy hitter, and you bring out Rock My World, which just was mellow, and people loved it. But I'm thinking, yeah, but it was, and I would have come out with something heavier. Yeah. And he says the initial plan was Unbreakable, Break of Dawn. I think he was going to do Butterflies, but then people sort of liked Rock My World, and they convinced him to bring that out first. Yeah, but I don't think it had the oomph.
And it was also just like the visuals of it, like doing the whole kind of Hacienda video, which is basically a retreat of Smooth Criminal. But just, we've seen it before with Marlon Brando. Like, they made so much of the we've got Marlon Brando, we've got Michael Madsen in it, and Tucker and him and all that, and it was like, we've seen this with Smooth Criminal. So this sounds like sacrilege to anyone listening.
Yeah,
like,
well,
it's like, how dare you critique? But it's like, I'm such a fan that I feel I have the right. I'm such a student of it. I feel I have the right. But I just felt like You Rock My World was cool. It was a dope record. It still is a dope record, but in the kind of tradition of like, oh, is this going to change the landscape, or is this going to like make the ground shake? It didn't. But what it is, it's an undeniable floor filler. Like, if you hear dun 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 dun, if you hear that at a party and you hear them chords come in and you hear them say "Dog cha," all right, cool.
But that was 3 years later, because he had stopped. Exactly. That was Tony Braxton, Man Enough for Me. So he had moved on from there.
He moved on. Did you hear the Jay-Z remix?
Yeah.
When it came out, I remember there was a thing called Real Audio Player, which is how I like kind of at the same time as Napster, but it was before Napster. But Real Audio used to get like that was how you got music, stuff like that. And so Real Audio Player, I remember there was a version of that Jay-Z thing that I had.
Yeah.
This is crazy, and it was Trackmasters that did it.
Yeah.
It really felt like the version that would be playing in the clubs. It had Jay
Yeah.
an opening 16 and an ending 16. But yeah, so that's I said Butterflies is my number.
Yeah, number 12. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll go my 12 so that we can go back. So my 12 was PYT.
Oh yeah, which one though?
The one on the Thrill album.
Thrill album. Okay, cool.
Yeah. I think it's I mean, it is the one with the whole chipmunk stuff, but it was just the fun part of it, and it takes me back to when the album came out, and it was, I was a kid, and you go to parties, and everyone is playing the Michael Jackson the album, and you don't recognize the history with you. Dio put rock with you. Okay.
Yeah, like PYT is a dope record. I can't argue.
Benjamin was saying that MJ was devastated during the making of Rock My World. He's heard people talking about his face, and he ran into his trailer. That's why he had the band and cut his hair, and that's why he had the bandana under the hat.
Oh,
wow.
He was going through it, man. He was going through it, and that's the thing. We can as fans offer like some critique and offer what we think, but it's like, man went through a lot, man. There's no human being from any era, actually. I think Michael Jackson is probably the most famous person that has and will ever live, because no one now in this era and no one prior will ever know. Like maybe he could have conversations with Elvis and stuff, but Elvis never hit those heights.
No, I mean, if I ask my kids, do you know Elvis? They won't know Elvis. But they, if I ask them if they know Michael Jackson, yeah,
So to what the person was saying in the chat, which I can't see, but I'll take your word for it.
Oh, okay, you can't see it.
Okay. Oh no, I don't want to see it because they'll probably be like, big head. He's got a big head. No, we will never know. We will never know.
Yeah.
The man went through a lot, man. The man went through,
Okay, what's number 11 for you?
Number 11, I'm going to put on "Baby Be Mine."
Wow. Okay. And that's off the Thriller album.
It's off of Thriller. Look, Chris Rock said this weird thing, and he was talking about, and I love Chris Rock, but he was wrong. He was wrong, and if I ever meet him in person, I'll say you was wrong. He said, like, when asked about, he was talking about Kanye's "My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy," and he was saying, "Oh, this is the greatest album ever," and comparing it to Thriller and being like, well, Thriller had "Baby Be Mine," and I think he was boosting Kanye's album because he was featured on it. That's why. if Chris Rock had done a voiceover intro for Thriller, he'd be gassing it. "Baby Be Mine" is Thriller's version of "Rock With You." And it's a really hard thing to do for that album. If you think about "Wanna Be Starting Something" as the big brother to "Don't Stop Until You Get Enough," "Baby Be Mine" is the big brother to "Rock With You." They're both Rod Temperton tracks. And while "Rock With You" is more timeless and will live forever in a certain kind of way, it's that perfect marriage of disco and soul. It's basically like the last night of disco. That's what it is. The whole disco is dead stuff, whatever. It feels like the last night of disco. But "Baby Be Mine" is beautiful. It kind of, in a weird way, it reminds me, there's a Fatback Band song called "I Found," that "I Found Love." They've got like a lot of the similar synths. So I always used to get those songs confused when I was a kid. I mean, just from a production level, because there's a lot of similar synths used. But I just think it's a great song.
Yeah, no, definitely.
I don't need no dreams when I'm by your side. Like, who starts a record like that? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's a beautiful song, and it also just reminds me of being a kid.
Yeah,
in that on, because I would always skip "Wanna Be Starting Something." I didn't really love that record.
Did it? Okay.
I didn't really love it. I didn't really love the sound.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I'm Cameroonian, so I know the Manny the Bango record. It's almost close to like, but Baby Be Mine would be mine, and I mean would be my like pick for like my number 11. I love
Wow. Okay, I have it on my list, but it's a little bit higher up.
yeah.
Number 11. Okay, I wish you could see some of these things, but I will try and see if it makes a difference here. No, okay. Yeah, people say Baby Mine's a little too low. I can't wait to see your top 5.
Hey,
That's
I'm
what
in trouble now because the
Ronnie J.
problem is I didn't do these in any. I'm being very risky, so apologize to the chat. I'm being very risky. You know.
I had Ghost at number 11.
Okay. Yeah.
And it was a New Jack track, which I think would have been done in during the Dangerous time, but they kept it, and it probably was going to be the updated version of Thriller. But I just love the the beat on it, the production.
Yeah.
And then again, as I said, I'm partial because it's a Teddy production, but I just loved the and he did a video for it was supposed to, I think it was supposed to have come out at 93, but Benson and so would tell me about it. But it was, I just loved that production. And but I was in the States when this came out, and we didn't get to see it. The it wasn't released in the States until Blood on the Dance Floor. So when it came out, and I think it was around Europe, I got to see it later. But I do love, it's still one of my favorites. So that is at number 11 for
Okay.
me.
Good 11. That's a good 11. Now see I'm saying I'm doing live editing because the chat's gonna kill me. I would do next. So I'll be at number 10.
Yeah.
10. I would do do you know what? I would do Speed Demon.
Whoa.
Yeah, I'd do Speed Demon. I'll throw Speed Demon.
Wow. Goodness. That is, wow. Explain yourself.
Speed, what you wouldn't have that on your list?
Speed. I mean, I love Moonwalker. I mean, Moonwalker, and loved watching it there. But yeah. Visually, it's when you listen to it visually.
Yeah. Do you know what it is? That's like the funkiest record on that thing. Like Bad, like Bad is like, I remember like reading reviews of the actual title track Bad, when it came out, like from '87, and people were like, "Is this the blackest Michael can do?"
What? That was such a pop.
Yeah. So I mean, Bad, the song, the single, and it's like, well, yeah, like you've got like a jazz legend playing the Hammond. You know what I mean? Jimmy Smith did 2 separate organ solos on that. Like Bad is a super black record. Like, but I think Speed Demon to me is just super funky, and it's a nonsensical song. It's kind of nonsensical. I think it stemmed from like him getting a speeding ticket or whatever, but it's a funky record. Like, listen, people don't give like Jerry Hay enough credit, like for the horn arrangements that he did, all the way up to Dangerous. I think like Jerry Hay Seawind horns, like, is an animal, like actual animal with them horn sections, because that roll on Speed Demon. Like, come on, who does horn sections like that? That's crazy. That's a crazy record. That's like one of those that like you like from doing the housework or whatever. You put that on, you're like, you start pull up your ticket. You start putting grunts and what have you. I think that record gets lambasted by fans, but I think it's one of Michael's funkiest records.
Yeah. As I said, when I generally enjoy visually listening to it when it's on when I enjoy visually listening to it, and he's doing a little dance stuff at the end with the rabbit. But yeah, yeah, goodness, okay, to put Speed Demon up there.
And then also what I'll offer as well, just on a technical thing, like the falsetto at in the middle eight, It's a dope vocal
Yeah,
performance. I feel like
yeah.
I have to defend my choice,
Well,
but
you're defending a choice which most people probably would be surprised. Oh,
I
then
would have never
again,
got that on there. But it's a funky record, man. The
yeah,
guitar
yeah.
riff, the horn section, out of this
Mm,
world.
yeah, okay. Um, I put in number 10. The bass line. Okay, somebody put Speed Demon as the bass line and Michael's vocals, especially his falsetto. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's Tony.
Yeah.
Number 10 for me is a Dallas Austin production.
Oh yeah.
And I wish they had released this album, this single, because if it was just before Biggie died and the whole thing, so it would have just been an epic video and collaboration if he had released it. Probably could have done the Bugsy Malone type of. Did you ever see Bugsy Malone? Oh, I know it's
Yeah,
way before
yeah. I was in the amount of Bugsy Malone productions I did in
Okay,
primary school and
okay.
secondary school. Like I love Bugsy Malone, man.
Yeah. So I
Paul
think
Parker.
if he had done a gangster type video with Biggie,
This time around.
this time around,
This time around was the first time I ever heard Michael swear. This time around,
taking no
I'm
shit.
taking a little stick 'cause I really wanna get mad. I love that because I was like, when I was listening to that on the tape as a kid, I was like, Michael swore. Oh my god.
Oh, but they used to. He swore and scream. They swore.
He did, but not on the when you got it as a single. You know what I mean? You did. I
I
didn't.
think they edited it out.
Uh,
Yeah.
and I mean, he did some swearing on They Don't Care About Us as well, but that's a whole separate. But no. I think this time around is a crazy record. Is a
Yeah.
crazy.
I mean, he felt the anger, and then to have Biggie just, because we heard Dallas Austin talk about the how Biggie was nervous around recording it, and how Biggie, how could I swear in it, and but I just thought that, man, why they missed the boat trick by not releasing that as a single in the video, taking advantage of Biggie
Yeah,
and just Michael. That would have just been legendary. Then just do some remixes on that track.
it would have been. Yeah, it's just timing, I suppose. I mean, like I've heard the Biggie stories of him not letting little C's come.
Yeah.
All that type of stuff. It's funny and actually, I think there was probably other stuff connected to it. I mean, like Biggie was 95 from a rap perspective was Biggie's because I remember being like 10 and like we just got MTV in 95. We just got Sky in 95. So it was like going from like black and white to color. And like so MTV UK would play like MTV Raps where they'd have like an abridged version of it. So you're seeing all these videos and like from One More Chance remix to Juicy and all this type of stuff. So yeah, Biggie was the guy in 95, and then obviously Tupac dropped All Eyes on Me in 96, but that's another conversation. So maybe that had something to do with it. I don't know, but maybe also the momentum of Thriller, the momentum of History had waned because the album didn't really do that well in the States.
Yeah, it's so the singles. So Scream was the way the Billboard charts had been changed. So Scream debuted at number 5, which was a record at the time. Then You Are Not Alone debuted at number 1,
Yeah.
which was then you can't beat number 1. Others have done it, but he was the first to debut a single to debut at number 1, and using that R. Kelly track. And so it kind of lost its momentum after that. We got to number 1. It did well, and I was in the States, and he started touring around Europe. So he never toured.
He never toured. Yeah, he never. That was his last. Yeah, because he didn't tour the States with Dangerous, did he?
No, he was in Europe doing Dangerous, and then it stopped before he can come to the States. And I was in the States all that time. And he never
because he hit like Thailand and Singapore, and then the allegations and all that happened.
Yeah. So he never came back to the States and performed. But yeah, History did well enough. I mean, it had a record for the most albums sold as a double CD and stuff like that. I wasn't a massive fan of History.
Yeah.
And then as I think he just put out the So anyway,
Anyway,
this time around is at number 10 for me. So what's number 9 for you?
number 9, I will put. This is because this is like, these are all cookable offenses. These are things, I forgot it was just me. I thought it was just me and you talking, but there's actually people who are just like, how dare he do that?
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know what? I'm gonna put Why You Want to Trip on Me.
Okay.
Why You Want to Trip on Me? Crazy. Why You Want to Trip on Me is crazy. Because it would have been that or like In the Closet, but they all kind of occupy a very similar space on that album. And for me, and I just sentimentally, I can just remember being about. I can remember being about 5, maybe 5, 6, and playing that in our old living room early morning, just putting it on my dad had these Technics, like a Technics kind of MIDI system or whatever.
Yeah.
Dancing to that, and then that guitar riff that starts it off crazy, and do the little coach, and actually it's really funny because that thing that starts on Jam is talking about social injustice and all that type of stuff. Nation to nation, all the world must come together, face the problems that we see, and maybe we can work it out, yada yada yada. With Why You Want to Trip on Me, it's a similar kind of social injustice.
Yeah.
Say I'm different, they don't understand, but there's a bigger problem, there's much more in their mind. It's like, it's very Rhythm Nation.
Yeah.
It's Michael, and it's funky as hell, and love it.
Yeah. I was listening to it last night, and I was just thinking, and it was in my. I mean, there was a time that I only just played the Teddy tracks, and I just got rid of it on my playlist, and I'll just be playing those 6 tracks. But yes, definitely, Why You Want to Trip Him In. I thought that he was. I thought that Benson saying he was 5. God, I'm old.
What did he say? What did he say?
Benson saying that when Dangerous came out, it says he was 5. God,
Yeah, I
I'm
was
old.
5 when that came out.
He said,
I
God,
was
I'm
5.
old.
I told you, Benson. I stole that off of Uncle Christopher.
Yeah. But I did love it because, and I thought it was. I mean, if I had, when I think of Michael's sort of don't criticize me songs, Leave Me Alone was probably for a long time my favorite because it was one of those where it was felt fun. And if you watch the video, he's saying
And it
"Leave
was
me
the
alone."
first. It was
It
the
was the
first.
first. It
But
was.
actually, weirdly, the video contextualizes it as "Leave Me Alone" to the press, yada yada yada.
Yeah.
It's actually like, I'm just looking up to see if it's here, and it's in my front room. I've got the songs so you can play them on piano. Like I got that when I was a kid. It's actually a love song, or it's like a thing. I don't care what you talking about, baby. I don't care what you say. It's not about the press. It's actually just a love song. But the music video recontextualizes it. But I know what you're saying. But that feels like his first me versus the press kind of thing because of the visual.
The way the video, yeah.
But I know what you mean. And actually, just here's a note within that. It's like those are when that crept into his voice, when that dread, when that and all of that type. But that's where I feel like Michael vocally kind of wasn't what we signed up for, because Michael's got one of the most beautiful voices ever. But that dread, that angst creeping in, which it started with Bad. Those aren't my favorite vocal performances. However, on Why You Want to Trip on Me, I just think it's just a funky groove.
Yeah.
And I often say with Dangerous is the best New Jack Swing album ever made. It is. That's the apotheosis of New Jack Swing. Like, yeah, we've got the first Blackstreet album, all that type of stuff, but it's like we showcase a New Jack Swing to the most people in the sort of grandest way possible. So
yeah.
You know, Why You Want to Trip on Me is a New Jack Swing protest record.
Yeah, and it is my favorite sort of Michael against, he did Threatened and Privacy and all that stuff later on. But Why You Want to Trip on Me was still the, doom, 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 why?
Oh, come on. I mean, that little turnaround is Gary, so still tell me why you want to trip on me.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I just imagine he took a young Teddy, and because I've seen somebody had a video camera recording the Teddy in practice, and he must have, because he just come through the whole thing with Gene Griffin, lost all his money, and then all of a sudden he's now with Mike and stuff. Yes. Okay. So you had that. So my number 9 is all I want to say is that they don't really care about us. And then the Rio video, the one he did in Rio, Spike Lee.
With Spike Lee?
Spike Lee. And I got the maxi single. You got all the remixes, Trap Master. You've got all the remixes with Ill Al Scratch. But it's such
Ill Al Scratch remix on that.
They rapped on it.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, they've got the rap. They rapped on it. Yeah, I don't know who did. I lost all my stuff still in the States, but
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they was it? No, wait, not Alaska. Wait, it was the guys who did Uptown Baby. Somebody would Peter Guns. Sorry, yes. Yes. They don't care about us. Remix, I think. Remix rap. Let me see. Who was in I can't. I can't remember who it is now. But somebody will put out there, because I used to have. I used to have the single and stuff like that.
Okay.
But yeah, they had the so I think it was the Dallas Austin remix.
Yeah.
But anyway, and
incredible song.
Yeah, but it's the so he had the first video, which was in prison, powerful enough. But then he did the one in Rio, the colors and on the streets and with Spike Lee. And I was gonna remember that when he did the bad video, he got I forgot his name now. Not Scorsese. How did you get Scorsese?
Because you're Michael Jackson, man.
To do your video.
You're Michael Jackson in 1986, 87. You can do whatever the hell you want.
Yeah, Scorsese do the video, and I think people forget about the main video about this guy in the hood going to school, and this was during the drug epidemic in New York. So he was trying to, he did the beating when it was the gang violence, but I think people forget about he was always looking out for his own people, because that video was pretty much about, you can still, you can beat that stuff. This was Wesley Snipes just before he did New Jack City.
That was one of his on-screen debuts.
Yeah.
You either down or you went down.
Now, I know Prince said he was supposed to have been a Wesley Snipes character, and it would have been fun and stuff. But
there is apparently Prince in his Prince way took the record and did his own version of it. So there's probably something in Paisley Park of him doing that. But yeah, that was we all we've all seen those interviews of Prince saying that, who was going to sing your butt?
He was going to sing.
They probably just weren't meant to collaborate, man. I love Prince, but he's a different animal to Michael in terms of they're I think they're compared because there were the two black guys, and at one point they look very, very similar.
Yeah, the light skin stuff.
There's two light skin or fairer skin black guys, but no, So you picked.
I picked they don't care about us.
So you were using bad to say that actually, yes, he'd done a tougher video before, but to go to the favelas in Brazil is
nuts. Yeah, I mean, just to and it just, they had the whole drum stuff, and the guys with the drums, and I guess I was also harking back that he got Spike Lee to do the video, and I think this was Michael realizing, if I don't go, yeah, the people who have always been down with him
Yeah.
through all the thick and thin and all the allegations with his people, like, Mike, I know you went out there, did your thing, we got you,
But it's
and we're not going to disown you and stuff.
we're not going to disown you, but then that is also commentary on blackness as well. It's like you can go out, sail the world, but you got to come back home.
You've got to come back
You've
home.
got to come back home. You've got to be able to walk your neighborhood. You've got to be able to go to the yard shop or go buy some jollof from Auntie's shop. You've got to be able to come back home. So
Yeah,
that's cool.
and that's what happened with Whitney.
And he did that in death, actually. In death, Michael Jackson came back home, which is sad, but he came back to the bosom of blackness.
Yeah. So they don't care about me, that about us. Powerful song, and people don't give him credit for the fact that he's constantly thinking about the community and thinking about injustice and stuff. Yes, so that's my number 9. What did you put?
So I'm winging it at this point because I've had to no, I mean, I've got my list. I've had to rejig. I don't want Benson's gonna come for me now. So I put I'm taking it back to younger Mike. I'm going With a Child's Heart.
Okay.
With a Child's Heart. Now that was I almost wanted to do Who's Loving You, because I think the Ed Sullivan show version of that is one of the greatest things I've ever seen in my life. Him performing that, because that kid's 10. He's 9, 10, I think. And that is one of the greatest that's one of the greatest vocal performances I've ever seen, that live version. But, and I'm using those as a comparison because Who's Loving You was Smokey's song, With a Child's Heart was Stevie's song. Stevie Wonder did a version of that, and they were both child performers. But I think Michael's With a Child's Heart eats Stevie's version, even though Stevie wrote it and whatever. And it's With a Child's Heart, it's so funny because it is always used on periodicals about Michael. So if there was a documentary on the Oprah 93 interview, there's a little kind of ad break where Suzanne de Pass is talking, then you hear those chords, the dun dun, and it's used on so much, and it's such an evocative song. It takes you back, and it feels like a cuddle in a lot of ways. And I think Michael's performance is beautiful on that. That was on, I think that was on the Music and Me album. I think that's what that was. So I think I put that there. It's one that I, in my childhood, played a lot. I had all those Jackson 5 and Michael records as a kid. I think it's and the music, the sentiment is a beautiful sentiment. With a child's heart, go face the worries of the day. With a child's heart, turn each problem into play. It's simple, beautiful.
Wow. So okay, you're going straight into the catalog in that one.
Great vocal performance by him. And he's with a child's heart, he's doing that at 14, maybe 15, 14, maybe 15. Incredible.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
My number 8 is there was a time that this was in my top 3. Baby Be Mine.
Hey.
I know you. I just. It's such a beautiful love song. I think that's. I mean, Rod Temple is an amazing writer and sort of producer and stuff, and the fact that and then Michael, the way he interprets the song, and I listen to it and I can see him smiling throughout the recording. It felt as if he's smiling and happy as he's singing it. That's how I got. I'm I'm a balladeer. I love my ballads, but this was as an up-tempo ballad as you can get.
Yeah.
And definitely love that. So yes. That's my number 8 for me. Baby Be Mine.
Baby Be Mine.
Baby Be Mine. Yes.
I will go with my 8?
Number 7.
I will go with Will You Be There?
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, from the Dangerous album.
From the Dangerous album, yeah. Will You Be There is it's an anthem, man. It's an anthem, and I said it when we started. I said I'd get into this argument with my friend about like removing "Keep the Faith" off of off of Dangerous, because it's like
Yeah.
you've got
You've already got the Man in the Mirror type
yeah,
song.
exactly, and "Keep the Faith" is in a lot of ways more rooted in the actual gospel tradition. It is more Man in the Mirror, because I think, is it Andre Crouch that was involved?
Yeah, on the crowd, yeah.
But it's like "Will You Be There" it was more global. I mean, it was the soundtrack on the soundtrack for
Free
Free Willy.
Willy. Yeah,
You know what
Free
I mean?
Willy. Yeah.
And when those, I mean, it starts with a Beethoven reinterpretation of a Beethoven symphony. I can't remember which one, and then you get that little and then you know you're in, and then you hear those chords dun 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 dun, and then you get those like big taiko drums. And then you get Michael preaching to us. It's such a beautiful, almost biblical lyric. And it's very evocative. Like, hold me like the River Jordan, then I would then say to you, you are my friend. Carry me like you were my brother. Love me like a mother. Will you be there? Like, it's just simple, and it's simple songwriting. Simple songwriting. And then as he takes it up in the next measure, he gets churchier. But they told me I'm meant to be faithful, and what we're not able, I'll fight till the end, but I'm only human. It's like, it's such a churchy song, bigger than Keep the Faith. It's global. It's like galactic in its kind of reach, and I think it's brilliant. And then you got the other bit. Everyone's taking control of me. Feels like that. It's just got so many different components. And then he does the classic thing and modulates it. He takes it up several steps. Change in a song. When you put change in a song, it's game over. You're just having fun at that point. So Will You Be There always gets me, and it's like I want to like run around the house in a white shirt, start like the fan flowing. You know what I mean?
Oh, goodness.
Okay,
yeah, because he needs those songs when he does his, that one leg kick kind of thing.
Which I can't do. That's what I'm saying. I do the white shirt. I can't do that. I can't do that. That dance is crazy.
Yeah. So he needs those type of songs to do on his show.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's his messianic mode, you know.
Yeah. Okay. Number 7 for me, for a while, I kind of thought it was overplayed and I just fell out of love with it. But Remember the Time.
Okay. Yeah.
Because it is such a simple love song, and it was definitely the right track to come at the second single of Dangerous. It was the right video, and it was like everybody says, "Oh, you're one of us. You're still one of us. You remember us." And because we were listening to Black and White, and we thought, "Oh, what's going on?" But when you did that, it's very sentimental. I like some of Teddy's remixes of it.
Like the one that he used as the promo for this.
So that was
that's just crazy.
I can't remember. Did it. Yeah. So I mean, I remember when he was supposed to perform on Soul Train,
when he was
sat in the chair, and I remember watching it live because I was living in the States then. And he stands up, and I thought, "Oh, he's gonna say, everybody just went, oh God," and he just sat back down again, and he was smiling, and I was like, "Oh, my Mike, man!" But that's the time and every Black organization welcomed him in. He was given an Essence Award, NAACP award. Everybody was just saying, "Mike, thanks for coming back home. We love you," and stuff, and it was
I've heard a story about that though, like because it was like, "Oh, I broke my leg." His leg weren't broke. I heard a story. I've heard like stories that like he was doing it just to do. It was basically like Michael Jackson mischief shenanigans. Like apparently his leg wasn't broken or whatever he said. He was just like, "Let me show you like how much power I have." I think he said this before. So yeah, there's some folklore out there that he was fun on people. So
yeah, I mean he did say he sprained it. It's hard to imagine though, because he hadn't performed in a while.
Yeah,
Um, and I think, but no, because most artists, if they sprint, then they'll cancel the show. But
yeah,
being able to show up there, and
yeah.
it's still legendary, and it's still the fact that he's so big, he's still coming on Soul Train.
Yeah, I mean, and that's an incredible thing at a time where like someone of his magnitude might have just shirked those like home base things. You know, you're doing
Mm.
Soul Train, you're doing your meat and potatoes kind of things. Because Michael Jackson is from Soul Train. He's from that
Yeah, yeah,
tradition. You know,
yeah,
videos of J5 going and doing pop promo pieces for Don Cornelius. You know, so they're from that tradition. So
yeah.
you can't front on the home base, man.
No, no, and that was the only award show that year that he did,
Mm.
that he performed. Even though he sat down. Yeah. So number 7, remember the time. So what's your number 6?
My number 6. This is where it's just getting tricky now because I move
Tricky.
things round. This is so annoying. It's so annoying. It was also gonna go into so annoying. Um, I would do. There's a song called Happy I really like from Lady Sings the Blues. Um, it's an oldie. It's from the Lady Sings the Blues soundtrack, but it's actually on Music and Me, and it's again back to my childhood.
Mm,
It takes me back putting headphones on as a kid and just sitting and listening to that song. I think it's like Happy is it's just a really beautiful vocal, man, and incredible like string arrangement and all that type of stuff. And it's just like Michael in like ballad mode because
mm,
he was a balladeer. He loved that. And you're talking about came out in 73. So you're talking about he's 14, 15, going through voice changes. So just
mm,
like whoever's producing him is having to like find the pockets that he can still, reach in that voice soprano. And it's and there's a little passage in it which I always just sometimes skip to, which I think is just one of the most beautiful phrases he's ever sung, like I've ever heard him sing. Um, the line is sadness had happy came smiling up at me, sadness had no choice but to be. The way he sings it and that thing, it does something to my soul, man. I think it's a beautiful record.
oh.
Some people might listen and be like, it's kind of schmaltzy, but I'm so
And
fascinated by young Michael. I think his voice is it was a force of nature.
yeah, Dio said it's a beautiful song. It's a lovely song. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to dig it. I'm sure I've heard it and stuff, but
And
I need to.
and mind you, I'm not doing this to stunt on you. I'm not doing like
No, no,
I'm doing genuine things that I would just play on a Wednesday
yeah,
or
yeah,
Saturday.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
No, 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 definitely. Okay. Okay. So you put it number 6 for me, and we spoke about it earlier, is I think the only thing that was disappointing with this was the video. I thought the video didn't do him and the song justice.
Mm,
But the fact that he wrote and produced it himself,
mm,
who is it?
mm.
Dum,
So we're,
dum,
we're getting into the
dum,
same kind
dum,
of territory here
dum,
because
dum,
yeah.
dum, dum, dum. And I just love the the haunting part of what he's saying, the story, and the videos had all that. They had the supermodel, but I couldn't understand it. It was hard to, and he's not really. It's not a Michael. A Michael video is something epic, and it just felt just like low budget. Let's just do a small video, and he wasn't really involved with it. It just, but
Do you know what it felt like? It felt like New York 90s art scene, like a Madonna kind of video.
yeah,
It felt very Madonna-ish.
yeah.
And I know what you mean is because there's those shots of him in the
Yeah,
car.
like
And some people
yeah,
said it's not him. They said it's E. Casanova. They said it's E. Casanova standing in for him and all this type of stuff. But yeah, I wonder what the other concept would have been for the video. I don't know because the song is so good. And it's if you think about the bass line is basically Billie Jean. It's that kind of driving kind of bass.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah,
beautiful song. Beautiful song.
yeah. Who is it? Is it a friend of mine?
Is it my brother?
Yeah.
It's,
He
somebody
goes black.
I
He goes
saw.
black. Isn't my brother? That's
Yeah.
soulful. Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
it's actually quite prescient because isn't it like Jermaine had a baby by Randy's
Yeah,
wife.
yeah.
So
This is my brother. This
this
is a
is my
friend of
brother.
mine.
Like, yo. Yeah, somebody talk to Jermaine because someone
Yeah,
call him
yeah,
Jermaine, you know?
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just yeah, and yeah, I just love the whole vibe, the whole song, and everything. As I said, some people might like the video. I just thought it's very rare to have Michael in a video that he's not really.
Yeah.
Oh goodness! So Benson says it isn't. It isn't Michael in the video. He says it
It's
is Yeah,
Casanova,
it
see?
just. Yeah, okay. I don't know who that S Casanova is, but it just didn't feel like Michael was part of it. Okay.
Yeah. See, I knew it. It's Casanova. Yeah.
Okay. Is he a lookalike or something? Or
Yeah, he's one of the lookalikes. Like I
okay.
always say that Michael Jackson messed up the economy for black Michael Jackson lookalikes. The white guys and the kind of Asian guys got all the work.
Yeah.
Black guys.
Yeah, you couldn't look.
From 87 onwards, they were out of the job. Like
Yeah.
ruined the economy for the black.
Yeah, tell that to flex.
Yeah. So I was gonna go into so speaking of videos that he's not in, my next song was gonna be Liberian Girl.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. When that came out, that was like, okay, so Mike, you're on another level. Because I was old enough to have watched most of those movies, from Jaws to Police Academy, Jumping Jack Flash. So the 80s had all these
Blues Brothers, all of that.
Yeah, all this fun. And then he had all of these people, all these stars in the video. And you just want that's the Danny DeVito, not Danny DeVito, Danny Glover from Lethal Weapon. Lou Ferrigno, it was everybody was there. It was like goodness. And so you don't even need Michael in there. You just seen all the stars, and then who's directing it? Oh, Stanley Stevensburg turns around. I'm thinking, oh my goodness,
yeah.
This is when he's bigger than Hollywood. That all these guys are there. It was such a.
He says, "Okay, everybody, that's a wrap." I don't even think he was on set for that. I think they
I'm sure he. I know he.
But what I'm saying is not at the same time. They just got him separately to do that. That's what I reckon.
No, I don't know. I think because they would have had them all in one movie lot and the soundstage, and they all would have been there just to give them. But it just shows levels. It just shows levels that he was that all these guys were just featured in the video. And yeah, so that definitely, and there's a beautiful song too. I mean, you're singing about an African girl. I mean, nobody, people thought he was talking about Liberians, so
like a librarian,
like a librarian.
Yeah.
But I mean, such a beautiful love song, and
beautiful song, and just the arrangement is crazy. And then some Swahili or some faux Swahili. Nakatapia, nakapenzapia, away. You know what I mean? Like, and it's so interesting the songs of Michael's that get sampled, because that was sampled by Tupac. Tupac sampled that, and Escape
and MC Light, keep on, yeah.
But it's so interesting the ones that get sampled because of it's those things, it's those riffs, those arrangements, those sonics, like it's just beautiful. You could play the instrumental and still get high off of that, and then you throw in his vocal and the actual just song. It's a beautiful song.
This is not fun to see. He says, Jim York says Michael arrived in limo.
I told you. I knew it. But do you know how I knew? It's because like you could do that in isolation because he doesn't interact with anyone. I knew it.
Or maybe he was like, look, I'm too big of stuff. I don't know.
No, maybe maybe Bubbles had a vet's appointment that day. Bubbles had a vet's appointment. He had to go take Muscles to the zoo. His boa constrictor. You know what I mean?
Oh goodness. I mean, yeah, I think you weren't old enough to understand how big stars were in the 80s. It's whether sitcoms, whether the movies, it was award shows were very different. So because if you watch any BET awards from the from the 2000s, it's just not the same level. You had people
No.
who were proper stars. You know, if people talk about the golden age of cinema in the 50s and the 60s, and you had movie stars who would show up, and George Clooney wouldn't even be able to brush their shoes. That's the levels of stars they had back in the day.
100%. And it's only ever diminished since then. Stardom has only ever diminished.
Yeah.
Like, and I also just think, look, I could sit and rant about this for hours. I just think because accessibility, because everyone can do it. What is a star? If everyone can do it, if we can all buy the same equipment and basically broadcast, just as a side note, because there's a lot of discourse about the Nas album that just came out, Nas and DJ Premier, and like someone said this perfect thing, because a lot of people critiquing it and they're saying, oh, there's a lot of bedroom producers critiquing it, and actually time was to be, whether it's music or anything like that, to be involved, you had to, one, have sacrificed something, and two, you just had to be up there. So I do remember the days when award shows and all that and celebrity like really meant something.
Yeah, and so in the 80s, goodness, those stars were massive, TV stars and stuff. So to get them all to show up in his video, it was unheard of. I mean,
crazy.
Yeah. So okay, Liberian Girl. Okay, so number 5 for me is Back on the Dangerous album. I didn't realize it had so many songs from Dangerous, but the it's the title track.
Yeah.
The drums, the dangerous, and it just keeps going, and I just, and as I said, when I listen to it, I have to put it loud.
Yeah.
I have to listen to it very loud, and it's just like almost like Teddy was given the space to be able to just bring something different, because I've heard the original demo and it was completely different from what Teddy brought in and added to it and stuff like that.
He did something different, because I've heard the demo. There was another song called Monkey Business from around that same early period, and they just sounded different. And what Teddy did was out of this world.
Yeah, so like, Dangerous. Yeah, that I just love that track. At number 5 for me.
So 4. We're going down to 4. Okay, cool, fine. I will go with. I'm not going to cross over. I'm going to take some off because we've talked about them already, and I don't want to keep going back and forth. I would, because on my list I have things like Remember the Time and Who Is It, but we've already done those, so it's kind of like we don't need to. I will go for Someone in the Dark. Off of the it's on ET. It's on the ET storybook. It was on like some special editions of Thriller. It was on like the 20th anniversary and all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
From the arrangement of that, very 80s synthy and Rhodes, but it's like it feels when a song takes you to a time. I wasn't even toddling when this song came out. It takes me to 82. I don't know how it does that. Where instrumentation and all that type of stuff. There wasn't a video for this thing at all, but the song just puts you in a room with Michael and the musicians, and you just see it. And he's talking about E.T., but he's talking about someone in the dark and just a love and a connection. And it's a beautiful string arrangement, and it's just Michael at his core yearns to sing ballads, man. He's designed to sing ballads and to bring that out. He's got incredible control from vocal coach Seth Riggs, the legendary. So Michael's tone and his range and his control, his diaphragmatic control is out of this world. So he knows how to ballad, and that's a very beautiful, evocative ballad, man. Beautiful song, Someone in the Dark.
Yes, Tony says finally I can.
We got Tony! We got Tony Jace 347. Yeah, I didn't do this to be popular. I did this. This is just sheer
Yeah,
talking. But thank you, Tony. Yeah, Summer in the Dark is crazy.
you had the biggest star singing on the biggest movie, E.T., but
Yeah,
also when you had when you had the 25th anniversary of the Thriller, and Quincy said we didn't have time. This was almost like we had to squeeze in to record. We promised Stephen we'll do it, so we had to sneak in, record it, then go back
yeah,
to. I mean, it was like, my goodness,
yeah.
yeah, definitely a nice little ballad.
Great.
My number four is my favorite song off of Dangerous. Sorry, off of Bad.
Mhm.
Um, it is a song that when you see him perform it, he's smiling, he's happy. You're just another part of Jesus. We're taking over. Yeah, I mean, I just love it. We're standing out, and he's in Wembley's after. We just recently talked about people said, "Oh yeah, Taylor Swift broke the record for how many nights he performed at Wembley," and I'm like, we're in different levels. Wembley was bigger then; it was a whole different.
When it was the Twin Towers, when you had the Twin Towers of Wembley, like the old Wembley, because I went
Yeah,
to Wembley, like that was a different spot, man. It was a different place.
yeah, but you can't. I mean, he did that in '87, so it's taken this long, and you've used social media and stuff, but to do what he did back in that time, you just couldn't. But just to see him perform that song, and goodness, I just loved that song.
Nice.
As I said, it was just the fact that you watch him perform it and he's smiling, and there's a difference when it's like he's enjoying it, he's into it, and you can feel the smile even when I listen to it now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quincy didn't want it on the album though. I think there was a toss up between that and Streetwalker. I think it was Streetwalker. But basically, there was a toss up between those two songs. But they also did a version of it for the Captain EO soundtrack. So there's a version of that from like '86, which doesn't sound as good. I think once Quincy put his hands on it,
It did its magic.
then it went right where it needed to go.
Benton's asking, have you heard Seeing Voices with the Ray Charles Choir?
I have not. Wow. Benson's a scholar. I haven't. I'm not even going to be one of those people that goes on
Quickly.
no, I've never heard that. I'm going to write that down. Was that, I don't know, ask Benson when they did that.
Yeah, Benson's when was it? When did that come out? Because I've not heard it before myself. Yeah, I'm sure he will Seeing Voices with the Ray Charles Choir. Oh, okay.
I've written that down.
Yeah, that's right. No part of me gave me the great energy. Yeah, okay. What's number 3 for you?
What's number 3? I'm gonna be really cheeky and I'm gonna say Come Together. I want to say Come Together.
What?
But do you know why? No, but do you know why? Do you know why I'm gonna say it? Because part of me is trolling a little bit as well. No, it's actually like the only Beatles record that he ever performed. So only Beatles, and that came out. He did that on his. He came out on History, but I think he recorded it around the time of Moonwalker. And it's the end of Moonwalker.
Yeah, with the orange or yellow shirt. Yeah,
and it just tells you something, because there's been a lot of conversations about the Beatles and about like the Beatles any good and yada yada yada. And obviously the Beatles did some great things and yada yada yada. But it's just testament to how good Michael is. Michael made the definitive version of this song. You see what I'm saying? Because when I go back and listen to the Come Together,
the Beatles version,
it's kind of whack. And Michael, he shows you how good. Like that there's so much when they take something, and it's similar to what he did with Girlfriend, which had been released prior. Girlfriend from Off the Wall Paul McCartney had already recorded it for a Wings album, I think, before that. But Michael's is the definitive version. So when Michael touches it, it's definitive. So come together. But that's just me like doing some like edutainment and like
Okay.
come together as a crazy record. And I love it.
Yeah, and it's true. If you do listen to the Beatles version, it doesn't have the same oomph.
It doesn't.
No, doesn't have the same oomph. For me, number 3 is butterflies.
Okay, cool. For a second, you were doing Blues Away.
No. That's I remember when I was living in Los Angeles at the time, and Steve Harvey was on the radio, and he'll keep playing it, and he actually had Mike on call in, but everybody was like, "Oh man, Mike, we didn't know he could, he could still hit those notes and the falsetto and the tenderness when he's singing and things like that." So yes, butterflies really, you've said enough from it. I've saw an interview with Marsha talking about watching him record it was surreal, because it's one thing to write a song and then watching Michael actually perform it and asking you, is it okay? Should I change some things? And she was like, what?
Asking for vocal direction, you know what I mean? From you're Michael Jackson and you're asking for that. You've worked with everyone. You've worked with the best of everyone. And but that is a credit to Marsha Ambrosius and like her prowess as a vocalist and as a songwriter. So it's just the best, still sharp and still kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay. Benson put 3 at Billie Jean, and Dio put I Can't Help It at number 3. Okay, it's good choices as well.
They're messing up my.
Okay, what did you get for number 2 for you?
Because I was gonna put Dirty Diana as my number 2.
Wow.
Yeah, I was gonna put Dirty Diana as my number 2. And Dirty Diana, I think if you think about, he's talking about Michael Jackson has the penchant for like taking these subjects, and you're like, how are you connected to this subject? But it's real. It's like his brothers was messing with groupies all the time, and he was on the lower bunk hearing his,
Yeah.
There's all those stories from J. Randy Taraborelli's book about all of that, and actually having to run from fans and all that type of stuff, and to create such an evocative narrative with a song, similarly to, look, and it's paranoid Mike, similar to like as funky as Billie Jean is, it's a paranoid Mike because that's from a real story. Levon Muhammad was, jumping into the house in Encino and writing him letters. That's where Billie Jean comes from. But this one is a similar thing, like groupies, but chasing him and stalking him, and actually you believe it. You really believe it, and it's like you got Steve Stevens on the guitar. You got this that's his rocker effort. That's his kind of, I'm doing my beat it thing. It's a really powerful song, and like it fills a room. It's a dope song. I love it.
Which one, Dirty Diana or Billie Jean?
Sorry, Dirty Diana. Sorry,
Dirty Diana. Okay.
Dirty Diana. Steve Stevens on guitar. It's just a crazy. I love it so much.
Yeah, and I do wonder how much this was feeling hurt by Diana, jumping from husband to husband.
I think that definitely has something to do with it, because like there's a contextual thing with these things. Like Michael Jackson's childhood had a massive effect on his adulthood. Like, that goes without saying. That's sort of like a stupid thing to say, but it's true. And more so with him, because with fame, you are frozen at the age you become famous. So his brothers had the benefit of being slightly older when they became famous. They were like more or less in their deep teens. He was 10, and when they came to LA ahead of the rest of the family, he lived with Diana Ross for a period of time. So I think, as you're saying, I think there's there must be some subtle thing in there. But yeah, that's a haunting song, and kind of goes against me saying like, I don't like Michael Jackson gets the angst and all that. But that's a really incredible song, and so much so that, you know, when I think he was doing a Royal Command performance of the Bad Tour, he'd
Mm.
taken it off of the set list to appease, because he didn't want to offend Princess Diana, and she was like, "Oh, that's my favorite song." That song's a wicked, wicked, wicked song.
Yeah, no, definitely, definitely, and it shows that he has a way of. You think of "Give In to Me," and you see how he does the rock songs, and you know he's able to say, look, there's in a genre that I can't really touch, and still own it.
But just but the inherent irony that that's black music though. It's so
Yeah,
funny how
yeah.
that is black
Little Richard
music.
will always remind him. I
Yeah.
started it before anyone else.
Yeah, like we black people got gangstered off of our own music. Like, what's wrong with black music? Chuck Berry's Little Richard, and so it's just like, yeah, of
Yeah.
course I want to grab that. What? Give it
Imagine,
to me.
imagine if it was hip hop where it started hip hop and then it becomes even country,
Let's
because
go there.
even country and the banjos and those were some black soul songs.
100%, and that's why I love Sinners. Actually, Sinners has this in Sinners has that conversation in the whole film. Yeah, it's all, most of it comes from the tradition of black music, particularly that of African Americans. So, like, yeah. Anyway, Michael always give you a rock offering on his albums. Apart from Off the Wall, he doesn't really give you a rock offering.
No,
But
that was a
it was a disco
definitely,
album. It was a soul disco album. But from
yeah.
Beat It to Dirty Diana to Give In to Me to DS Dom the
Dance,
DS songs.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's a he put Slash on that.
Yeah,
Slash
Slash.
is on that. You know what I mean? Na-na-na-na. He's got or State of Shock on the Victory album. You know, with
Mm.
Mick Jagger. So he's always giving you that little nod to heavy guitars and some heavy metal and some rock. So yeah.
Yes. Okay. Number two for me is yeah. I mean, I interviewed the producer of this track, and he talked about he was recording it for Kevon Edmonds,
Mm-hmm.
and when he was trying to get Kevon to sing it in a certain way, and Kevon says, "Look, why are you trying to make me sound like Michael?"
I know exactly what some of you
And so
gonna
he
say.
said, "Look, if you think it's for Michael, take it to him."
Uh,
And he says, he was like doing 6 degrees of separation. Who do I know that knows Michael? Teddy Riley.
yeah,
They get it to Teddy. Within 2 weeks, Teddy says Mike's heard the song and he wants to record it. Heaven Can Wait.
yeah.
He says that when Michael comes towards him and is talking to him to say, "Hey, great, I love the song," he said that it felt like if you ever watch Charlie Brown and at the back when the parents talk, so you have no idea what the parents are saying. That's what it was like having Mike talking to him, because it's like, this is Michael Jackson. You know, this is the guy on TV, and everyone who I've interviewed who've met him, it's the same sort of awe that this is the guy on TV, and he's talking to me. He doesn't, and he knows me. He kind of understands me. He's not faking it. He knows. He studies you, appreciates what you
Mm.
do. But for me, this was the closest to him taking it to as being as sensitive as he can. If the heavens, I'll tell the angels no. I'll tell. I mean, he was like being said, "No, man, I'm gonna wait. No, I have to stay with my baby." I mean, I'm like,
Yeah.
I loved Heaven Can Wait,
Yeah.
and I wish he did more of these very central, vulnerable songs, because he can deliver them like no other. But
Really
he
can.
just didn't trust himself with those.
He didn't, and also there's just the commercial pressure.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
when he's made and it was the albatross around his neck. It's constantly chasing the
Thriller.
impossible. It's like there was he wrote on his mirror for Bad, "I want 100 million records." It's
Yeah,
impossible. It's
yeah,
impossible. It's impossible.
yeah,
So he was always chasing that, and that was going to be difficult.
yeah,
Difficult.
yeah. Before you get to number one, what are some of the songs that you could have put in your
Thank
top?
you. Thank you. Okay, cool. Honorable mentions. Childhood.
Oh, okay. And it was actually, when you listen to it and watch the video, you can feel for him. You can understand that actually this isn't easy.
Yeah, Childhood, honorable mention. I was gonna give We're Almost There. I think Benson and everyone kind of messed up my flow because I was like, these guys are gonna fry me if I don't say some of these songs. But no, we're almost there is like one of that is the beginning of adult Michael Jackson. So that's from Forever Michael that came out in 75. So he's like 17 at the time, or almost 16, 17. And you can just hear his voice is broken, and that rich maturity that we take into the late 70s and 80s has come out, and you're like, oh, this is your voice is incredible, because it's the most incredible feat to take a child singer once their voice breaks to maturity. Like Usher did it successfully, and that was, got some vocal coaches and all that. And I think Tevin Campbell did it as best he could, but going from a prepubescent boy soprano to a man, very hard thing. So we're almost there as the beginning of Michael's adult tone, and it's such a beautiful, like, funk disco kind of mid-tempo record from that. Forever Michael is a bit slept on. I think it's got some great, beautifully written and arranged songs. So those will be like my two honorable mentions.
Oh, okay. Okay. Only two. So okay.
Way more than that, but I'm just thinking about time, and these people hear me talk rubbish.
Okay. What's your all-time favorite then?
So number one, I would put I Can't Help It up there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I put I Can't Help It up there. I think that is like Michael. That's like the closest he's ever come to singing like over jazz chords, dancing over jazz chords, because those changes are he's doing a jazz record. He's doing what Stevie would do. And when you read about it and you do the kind of behind the scenes of it, that was originally like the demo of that was a bit more up tempo. And I think Greg Fillinganes played on that, and Fillinganes have been with them, with the Jacksons, touring with them since, earlier in the 70s and stuff. And I think he spoke to Quincy and he was just like, nah, let's slow it down a bit. We're trying to make Michael sexy. So give me that Rhodes, and give me some of those nice little inversions and all of that technical jazzy stuff. But, taking what Stevie had done and bringing in, I don't know what synth they had on that, but there's a lot of like, maybe it's an Oberheim or something like that. But it's like, it just feels warm. Feels like it's like a real high point of that album. It feels slinky, it's sexy, it's Michael just sounding like, and he never sounded like that ever again, I don't think. Maybe like Lady of My Life reaches those heights, but that's a different record entirely. This is just, it's jazz, man. It's jazz, and it's there's elements of, is it bossa nova at some points? You know what I mean? Is it bossa nova? Like, it's such a beautiful song and beautiful vocal performance, and it's timeless. I think I love it. I put it on speakers and headphones, and I hear new things every time. Or you put it on some nice speakers and you get close your eyes and transport yourself somewhere. It's real audio magic.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, goodness, yeah, it's Off the Wall definitely is it is just a vibe in its own, yeah. And for many people, I think a lot of people do mention how much The Wall is probably one of his best albums, even though it did 10 million.
I see what Tony said. I can't help it now. That's a good pun. No. Do you know what? There was some songs that, like, look, we'd already discussed. There's no point me putting them on my thing as well, because the truth is there's no best Michael Jackson songs. There's no next week my list will change. My list will change, because I'll be like, oh man, like Euphoria or Johnny Raven or any of these like younger Michael Jackson solo songs, or Who's Loving You, I'd put that up there. Another day I'll be like, She Drives Me Wild is incredible, so there is no best. Like Michael Jackson's catalog is peerless. It's actually peerless. It's for the most part a greatest hits. Every album is like a greatest hits collection.
Yeah,
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 first adult trio, that trilogy of Off the Wall, Thriller, and Bad. It's a greatest hits. It's a greatest hits collection. It
yeah,
literally, it's
yeah,
it's a greatest hits collection. There's not a,
yeah.
even the things that I think are missteps, like Just Good Friends, is still not a misstep. You know what I mean? It's still an
Yeah,
incredible.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it could have been. You could have been better in some ways. Because I'm listening to when I listen to the Thriller album or even Off the Wall. Sorry, even Off the Wall or Bad. I'm like, this is the time when these musicians added something different to the album.
Mm,
You know, when you had Eddie Van Halen in Unbeat It, and it's so it's it's not like now where we talk about bedroom producers who can say, yeah, let me play that guitar on this on the keyboards and stuff. You
mm.
had Eddie Van Halen and it was unusual to start. And Mike was just reaching out, Eddie, with Quincy, can
So
you
yeah,
get
Quincy
this?
was doing that. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
can we get him on the? And it's like, wait a minute, but you're a black artist. I do rock, but no, we want that sound on this album. And
Yeah.
so you hit Beat It, and it's like, yeah. And you think of a song like Thriller, and I was listening to it. I'm thinking, how did he just say to? Did he just go to um oh, what's the guy's name? The writer.
Temperton, Rod Temperton.
Rod Temperton. I said, "Yeah, can you
Mm.
write a song? Let me write a song about Halloween kind of thing. Just glue." It's like, well, it's like, and cause I was listening to it, and I'm thinking, but no one was doing that kind of concept. You know, you'd sing a
To
Christmas
be
song.
fair, there's the Starlight version of it, like Starlight. That was the original demo of that song, and it's I suppose it's the genius of Quincy because they recorded a whole song which is Starlight, same production, same cadence, just different words, and that's available on YouTube and all that. But it's like I think that's the genius of Quincy, and Quincy as a tutor, father figure, an adult
Mm,
tutor, father figure, in a way, like sort of taking on what Berry Gordy had started with Michael at the Motown finishing school,
mm,
and taking Michael and being like, do these things, and giving him taste giving him a certain taste in whether it's musician or even being like Svensk Bruce Swedian.
mm,
This is your guy now. So the fact that Bruce Swedian worked with Michael till the very end, but that's
mm,
Quincy's guy. So it's almost like the way I compare it is like I'm a Bond nerd as well. So like Terrence Young directed Doctor No from Russia with Love Thunderball. He took Sean Connery and sent go to my tailor, take these things, and that sounds almost disrespectful to compare Michael in that way, but because Michael was already a star, but
mm,
what he did, what Quincy, and I just want to just give Quincy his flowers because obviously he's no longer with us. Quincy was incredible. He was incredible, one of a kind, had seen it all, done it all, and was still willing to learn. Like this was, he made Thriller and Off the Wall and Bad post aneurysm. You know what I mean? In his 50s, that he'd had an aneurysm and actually took Michael to the heights. And he wasn't just involved with the music, he had a say as well in the rollout of it, and wanting to make sure, Bad conceptually was his idea because he was like, oh, we need to give Michael a tougher image for this album, It was like, and so just that whole thing. And so there's a lot to be said about that because you could also, as much as I love Michael, some of those demos are cool. Like those demos of Don't Stop Till You Get Enough with Randy, with Randy and Janet arguing with each other in the back, and that's great. That's great stuff. And they could have easily gone to worked with like Tom Tom 84, who the Jacksons worked with, like those arrangers, and got T.O. and everyone. But you go get Douglas Chancer and Paulino da Costa and all these other like crack session musicians who were just the LA
mm,
hot shot musicians that Quincy has put together. That's
mm,
his, that's his genius, knowing
mm.
to invite to the party, and he needs his flowers for that. And setting Michael up right because that is a flawless run. 8
Yeah,
7 to 8,
yeah, yeah.
flawless.
yeah, to be able to elevate, you're getting the best in class musicians to complement Michael's vision, and working as a team.
100%.
Yeah, I think some of my honorable mentions where "She Drives Me Wild." I even
Oh,
put, yeah, yeah. I just love the door, doom, doom,
yeah, yeah, yeah. But you know what's so funny about that song? It reminds me of "She's Got the Look" by Prince. I always feel like that was Michael.
Yeah.
It feels like a Prince record. It feels like an early '90s Prince record. Feels like
She's got the
on
look.
to
Yeah, yeah,
that.
yeah.
Um,
Um, I
God, but
was,
that's a beautiful song.
yeah, and I did put "Why You Want to Trip" for me in my honorable mentions, and
Mm.
whatever happened, I thought I had this vision of a Western video.
I did as well.
You
That's
did.
exactly how I see that song, like as a Western, because it's just got those Spanish guitars and
Mm,
that kind of beautiful percussion, really
yeah.
beautiful.
Dum, dum, dum,
Yeah, and it doesn't sound like pizzicato strings. It doesn't also sound like anything on the album at large. It sounds so fresh. It's like a breath of
Yeah, it's because you're right, because we had the 5 or 6 Rodney tracks, and then
yeah,
you had the other tracks, so it felt like 2 different albums. In fact, what was happening was that Rodney started it,
yeah,
and something somewhere there was not a fallout, but then Rodney left the project,
yeah,
and he reached back out to Teddy,
yeah,
and Teddy brought him 5 or 6 different songs,
yeah,
but they weren't at the time they didn't have that much time, so he was reaching out to people who had stuff so that he can reproduce
yeah,
alongside Michael. So you had some songs that sounded adult contemporary, like "Whatever Happens," "Break of Dawn," and I thought that sound fitted the album at that time. I think the Rodney stuff was should have come out 2 years earlier, so
yeah.
it felt like yeah, it just
Michael,
felt disjointed.
yeah, Michael just didn't have. There was too much commercial pressure, and obviously now you can do anything that you want because you're just releasing when you want. But I wouldn't want a Michael Jackson album to not be an event. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I like it's sad to say, but like for Michael's legacy, and please, it sounds like God forgive me for saying this. The best thing for his legacy was that he didn't do This Is It, and he didn't release any music after that. So it's like the worst that we're ever going to get from him is Invincible, if you see what I'm saying. And
Mm.
actually, the job, and I've got to commend the estate because I know there's a lot of back and forth with the kids and all that type of stuff about what's going on. But like John Branca's done the most incredible job rehabilitating an estate that was in deficit at the time. He's turned it into a bit like John Branca is. We don't even need to go into like how he secured the ATV catalog and all that type of stuff. Like, but they need their respect. What John Branca's done is incredible, and John McClane. But with Michael, like if he was any other artist going into their 50s, yes, you could just put out an album of like, all right, I'm going to do this thing. And Prince, to his credit, in the 90s, kind of followed that thing of just being like, I'm going to release Musicology because I'm making music every day and I'm going to do this. And Musicology is a great album, but it wasn't an event.
Yeah.
It's like Michael Jackson wouldn't allow himself that level of regularness. Like, he needed an event. He needed a 100-foot statue of him
That
going
you
down
drive
the
down the Thames to
yeah,
say, yeah, I'm in town.
and I suppose music changed and spectacle, the demand for spectacle changed, and hence why like now you've got like a million microbrewery musicians releasing every day, and there isn't a kind of northern star that everyone coalesces around. But like interestingly, Michael doing a smaller, more personal album, which would add Break of Dawn, Heaven Can Wait, Whatever Happens, which feel very I'm going down the thing, but like he was following a formula because with Invincible, you had, as I said it before, you had You Are My Life, which is a song I've not listened to since 2001.
Yeah, yeah.
You're Speechless, which I think is
Speechless.
which
Yeah.
is one of the most terrible songs he's ever put.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Cry. Me and my friend Francis argue about this all the time. I hate Cry with a
Yeah, it was a weak R. Kelly
yeah.
track.
No, but it's also like Stranger in Moscow light when you listen to his vocal because he does the vocal beatbox and it's just like this is terrible.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah. I think he had Did he have not Little Susie, but Little Smile was not on that. Was Smile on it?
Smile was on History. It was
Oh, it
on
was
History.
on History.
It
Yeah.
was on
So
History.
I yeah. So
Yeah, it was great. Smile was great, and I like Little Susie. Little Susie was cool.
yeah, but
Like,
I
it was
think
operatic. It was an
when you're thinking about over too many tracks on an album, and you're thinking that it could have been cut down.
yeah. I
Yes,
blame CDs. I blame the CD format
yeah, it
because
meant that you can pack more onto it. But yes, that was an issue with it. I also put. Let me see. Yeah, I mean, so those were the one. But my, I don't know how come you didn't like 2000 watts.
I hate it.
2000 watts. 8 ohms.
You know
2000.
what? It
And he
sounds
sounded so different.
yeah, he did something with they did something with his voice, but also I think it's you said it on our last chat, and other people have said it about it being a Tyrese song. And
It was the title track for
give it to
Tyrese's
Tyrese.
album.
Tyrese is a great vocalist, great artist. Give it to him. It's not a Michael song, and it's like that sort of taps into Michael's fascination with like electronics and technology and all that type of stuff. It's a terrible.
Dolby 3D. It was.
It also sounded like an NSYNC reject from that time. Sounded like something from their that album. I forget the name of the album, but it's not Michael, man. It's not great Michael. I think Michael is at his very best, his absolute best, when he leads from his R&B instincts. When he leads from his R&B instincts and builds out from that. I also think he would benefit from, or he would have benefited, especially later in his career, from having people say like no,
Mm,
from people saying no. And it's very difficult when you reach that level, or when you are 80s famous, or when you're Michael famous. But he had no one to say no. And I think that's what Quincy was really brilliant at. Because
yeah.
like Quincy nothing. Quincy's like, I work with Frank Sinatra. You can't tell me nothing. Like, you don't tell me what to do. But you need, I think in any of these great partnerships, you need the ability to say no, and you need someone to say like, yo, you're going too far with that. And
Yeah.
so the best things are kind of don't have 20 producers and writers and interlopers. They're just a small brain council saying, this is the thing, we're giving you this meal, have that,
Mm,
you know.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I think at this time it was. I think they missed the deadline. He probably spent two years doing those Rodney tracks, and I think that the label says, "Look, it's getting. We need those songs. We need to put out the album." And then he scrambled back to Teddy, and they just brought stuff and just put it in there, and they needed. Yeah.
And
Um.
and then the problem is the sound changes because
Yeah. It didn't seem cohesive. It just
it
felt like two.
changes, it changes from year to year, and as technology improves and communication improves, sounds change and tastes change. And Michael Jackson, like those albums, were just victims of the sound and the appetite changing.
Yeah. Yeah. My all-time favorite song, not just Michael's song, the song ever.
Mm.
And anyone that listens to podcasts will know that this is the I don't I always talk about that. And I remember Donnell has to say is the same song for Donnell, the same
Mm.
for Pamela Long of Total,
Yeah,
um, the lady in my life.
James Ingram, James Ingram, like
It
that's not even James Ingram. What am I talking about? It's a Rod Temperton song. What am I talking about?
Yeah, Rod Tempton writing it. So he,
Yeah, yeah.
it's like the slow the I can't listen to the verse two because I'm like as the song is just the verse and the chorus and stuff. The rumor was that he was so shy he had to hide behind a couch to record his vocals because it was like too sensual. But I think Neo is his favorite track as well as Maxwell. It's
It's
just the fact that how soft and tender and it's butterflies or heaven can wait where he becomes vulnerable vocally, but yeah, and then LL and Boys to Men sampled it on Hey Love.
lover. Yeah,
I love it, yeah. But it's just I actually don't listen to it so often because it's so important to me that I would listen to it probably once every 6 months or something like
Yeah,
that,
I know what you
so that
mean.
I don't just want to like get used to it. Like, so
Yeah.
but it's just, there'd be no darkness to lady.
Oh, have you heard the extended version of it?
I have not listened to it. I'm afraid to listen to it because I don't want to be. I don't want to
Yeah, I
spoil it.
heard it for the first time this year. I heard it for the first time this year, and it was just a really interesting thing to listen to. I think it was like March. I was in Paris and I just put it on. I was walking along like the Seine, and I was like, "Oh, this is interesting." He talks about. I'm not going to spoil it, but he says talks about don't want no fortune and fame, something like that. I think the version that they made in condensed is just so. It's just so. It's just so. It's like Goldilocks's porridge, man. It's like,
Okay, like, okay, this is it.
yeah. It's sort of like you can hear, that song Carousel.
Mm,
Is like there's a shorter version of Carousel and there's a longer version of Carousel, and either way, you're kind of like, yeah, this song didn't belong on the album necessarily. It's
yeah,
fine,
yeah.
but Lady in My Life, the version that we get, perfect way to end an album. Perfect way to end an album, and I understand it being like your favorite and your favorite because you're saying it's your favorite song ever. I can understand that. I can understand that music is magic, and when music can make you feel things and take you to a place. And we started this conversation by talking about energy and talking about little kids. How do they feel Michael Jackson? This is the energy.
Mm,
That song's 40, nearly 50 years. It'll be 50 years old at some
yeah,
point soon. And we're still feeling the energy from that. It's
yeah. And it is what music is,
mm,
and but it was the magic of Rod writing, the brilliance of Quincy producing, but then you just got Mike in such a vulnerable space,
mm,
and some of us start wondering why did he shy away from that? And as you said, it could be the fact that universally he was in a position where he needed to bring out music that could transcend and talk to everybody.
mm.
But it is such an amazing track. I mean, I think Troop have covered it because they're big Michael fans. Who just said that? Yeah. Dio said that Albie Shaw's did a cover of it on his fourth album. It
Yeah,
is, yeah, definitely his thing. Janet's funny how time flies. Okay, I could see. Oh, there was a mashup between Lady in My Life and Funny How Time Flies. Yeah. But
yeah.
as I said, vocally, just just an amazing song, by the greatest artist, performer, entertainer. He just wraps it all in one.
Raps. There is no greater. There is no greater. And look, there is that conversation about Michael and Prince, and I kind of think it's like a Tupac and Biggie conversation. They're completely different artists, I think. Like they're completely different artists. And look, I got an appreciation of Prince as I got older, and I saw him live. I'd never seen Michael live. I saw Prince in 2007 at the
Oh,
O2.
two. Oh, those seven. Those were the
Like
residency.
a friend of mine, an actor friend, Aaron Bakari, he was like, "You're not a Prince fan." He bought him and his friends bought loads of things. I was like, "Give me a ticket, give me a ticket." Anyway, they had one. Someone dropped out, and he said, "If you can make it here in 20 minutes, you've got the ticket." And it's one of the best things I've ever seen. But Prince is a different thing. He's
Mm.
just a different thing, and I love Prince, and I'm still discovering things about Prince. Like every day, there's always a new record. I think with Michael, and this is a harsh thing to say for fans, but it's like I think his B sides or his unreleased are fine being unreleased because when you hear them and like you hear like, oh, it hasn't gone through, this isn't what he wanted to do, or there was a reason why it was left off. But
Mm.
there's so many songs off of the original version of Thriller that didn't come out, like Hot Street or Nightline. There's these songs which they couldn't fit because of the grooves on vinyl. I think they had like about 17 songs, and then when they made the first pressing of it, it sounded terrible because the grooves were really thin, and so they had to get rid of a bunch of songs, Carousel being one, and there was Hot Street, and there's another song called Nightline, and those songs are terrible. They just, no, they really are. I'll be really honest. They just sound like generic 80s songs They kind of sound like Andre Simone or Andre Simon songs or whatever. They kind of sound like that. But and so I'm just using that just to say, like, Michael, everything we got from Michael was perfect, and he gave us like 100 amazing songs, or however many songs he gave us. But Prince, it's like whether it was Prince was writing for the Bangles, he's writing for the Bangles, or he's writing for Sinead O'Connor, or he's doing something for Shaka Khan. Like, because he was a one man band, it was slightly different for him. Produce at will, whereas Michael always needed, I think, like others to help execute what was brilliant, but he needed other people to
Yeah,
do.
he wrote Muscles for Diana Ross.
I want muscles.
Yeah.
But they had it, and I sound like I'm slandering, but say had it been Prince or whatever, Prince would have worked the DMX drum machine himself.
Yeah. The
And this is just my point, is that Prince is a slightly different offering as a musician. Not to say that Michael Jackson didn't have musicianship, but because to hear it in your head and be able to translate that to other people, whatever. But either way, it shouldn't be that shouldn't. You're comparing Alpha Centauri to Cassiopeia. They're both these amazing stars that sit in the sky, and you just can't compare them.
Yeah, I know. I remember, and I haven't got him on the show yet, but Jimmy Jam would talk about how Prince can go in and just do everything on his own. But then the difference with Mike is that Mike, if he doesn't sound, if he can't hear what he wants to hear, he won't let you stop until he just gets it right.
Till he's got enough.
Until he gets what it is. But then, I think vocally, we think about Kid Michael, and I think you can get confused with his pop stuff. But vocally, he reminded us in with Butterflies that vocally I can stretch and I can do pretty much anything. Yeah, I can still do the runs. I can still remember I'm the one who sang "Will You Be There." No, the one what's the one that "I'll Be There."
He sang "I'll Be There." He sang "Got to Be There" as well.
Yeah, also got to. Yes.
To Be There. He sang "Never Can Say Goodbye."
Yeah.
He sang that at 11.
I mean, one of my favorites with the Jacksons was "Heartbreak Hotel." The soul in it.
This place hotel, as they had to.
They had to change. Oh my goodness! Now, can you imagine them? You can say, you can call anything, as long as you're not sampling it. But
yeah, exactly. Yeah. But no, that is a amazing performance. In fact, we didn't even touch anything off of Triumph, which I think is, but we weren't really allowed to because we were going for solo stuff. But Triumph, there's that song "Everybody" on Triumph, which is one of my favorite. It's up there with anything he or the Jacksons have ever done. Like Everybody's so wicked. Or Time Waits for No One as a ballad is off of the Triumph album, is a wicked song. But yeah, Michael and his journey as an artist, it traverses the history of Black Americans, African Americans in America. From you're talking about civil rights. Michael Jackson got famous after the civil rights movement. He got famous after Malcolm X and Martin Luther King had been assassinated. They are the first post civil rights, post moonwalking stars. And if you think Man landed on the moon in 69, and then I Want You Back was released in 69. So it's just crazy how far back he goes, and even the fact that Joe Jackson was taking that van and driving from Chicago to this place to that place, doing the Chitlin circuit. So they'd seen so much in their short lives. Did you I've obviously seen it, the Jacksons: An American Dream?
I remember it came out in 93, I believe.
92.
So I moved to America in November of 92. Yeah. That came out, I think, 3 weeks later.
It probably shook the world over there, because I remember when I was watching it here, and it was like,
yeah,
an event.
we were what? Yeah, it was because then they did that, and he did the Super Bowl, in January.
January, yeah,
Yeah, and then he got the Legends Award at the Grammys, and the Soul Train performance. So it was just in that time. But watching the American Dream, just watching, yeah, it was an amazing. I mean, if you've seen the New Edition story, you've seen the Bobby Brown stuff. Everyone still remembers the Jackson Five with the Jackson, the American Dream, Angela Bassett playing Catherine, and
Lawrence Hilton Jacobs playing Joe, Wiley Draper playing Michael, Jason Weaver playing young Michael.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah. But then the scenes, because Barry Gordy will always tell you that Mike will be in the studio watching and observing and absorbing. So he wasn't like the others would be outside playing basketball and chasing the girls. He'll be in the studio. What's going on here? So he was learning the business. He was learning how to be in control of his career.
yeah,
And the fact that they ended it at Motown 25 it was just epic, because that was the night he became
he went into
Michael.
orbit. He went into orbit, as Barry Gordy said. He went.
Yeah. Of course they tried to embellish it, saying, well, if you perform Motown 25, you're going to blow up. It's like, yeah, well, no one knew that was going to be the case. But it was, and at first I wasn't happy that I wasn't happy that he left his brothers. I was like, what's
What you mean? At the end of the Victory tour, he left his brothers. You mean?
no, when they did the Motown 25,
Oh,
I was like, well,
yeah,
where is
yeah.
he just hugged them and said, okay, guys, and he moved away. I was like, what's up with you, man? Look at your brothers. But then it was like, okay, yeah, it had to be his
He had to take center
he
stage.
had to take his center stage and stuff.
What's so funny? You don't even remember the rest of. It exists. Motown 25. The whole.
Yeah, I mean, they had the Temptations versus the Four Tops.
He
He had the
all of that,
Barge.
but no one thinks about it for that.
No,
Even the fact that he lip synced Billie Jean, no one cares, because that performance, that 3.5 minutes, whatever it is, you know every beat from it, you know every camera angle. All that.
Yeah.
It's out, and it's something that I watch. There's two things I watch when I want to be inspired. I watch Ed Sullivan's show, Who's Loving You, and I watch Motown 25 for his performance. It's electric.
I just posted a video with Crazy Bone from Bones Thugs and Harmony.
Oh yeah.
He says when he watched that, he told his parents, I want to get into music.
Oh wow.
Crazy Bone of Bones Thugs and Harmony from Cleveland, a gangster as well, rapper, and saying that he saw the Motown 25 and he told his parents, I want to get into music. And he's done it. He did a tribute song for Michael that he's recorded. But even hard rappers are inspired by him.
The amount of rappers that will say like they would faint or they would cry if they saw Michael, because Stormzy has a line where he says you're not too big for Adele or whatever, and the reality is no one is too big for Michael Jackson. You just not. Michael Jackson is. There's a statistic that at its height, Thriller was selling 500,000 copies a week, and it revitalized a stagnant industry. Michael Jackson is it.
I interviewed the head of Sony Epic Records. No, this was oh goodness, I can't TJ something, because he was in charge of promotions at sales at Sony. He said that the album was just they didn't have to do anything. They'd never seen so much music being shipped at the time, that he was just it just didn't make sense how well it did. But the one thing he did that he promised his dad and his brothers, that after Thriller came out, he could have done a Thriller tour.
Yeah.
He went back to his brothers, and I think it gave the brothers a platform, but and some money. But I think just getting people who've seen the Triumph and the Victory tour would say that it wasn't as good,
as bad.
Well, it wasn't as good as the Triumph. They think Triumph was probably the best sort of the best one there, but Victory was was because Michael was the biggest thing on the planet. But I thought it was a good idea. I think it was good to temper expectations, having him not do a solo tour, have with the brothers.
It was a good way of like, it was almost like a Jackson's farewell tour in a way. Because like I think in like 89, after the Bad Tour, they wanted to do the Moonies, the Korean religious church. They a guy called Kenneth Choi came to Joe and the brothers with bags of money to be like, yo, we want to do a Korean tour. And the brothers at that point, because they released, I think they were about to release 2300 Jackson Street, but they just didn't have money. So they were like, Michael, do you want to do the tour? And Michael was like, no, I'm done. What have you not? But it's so funny because there's some shenanigans going on with the World Cup at the moment with the ticket sales. That happened with Victory. Like they were doing this scam basically where you had to buy 4 tickets, or you have to send off money orders for 4 tickets. It was like a lottery. You weren't guaranteed.
What?
You weren't guaranteed to get a ticket, but like you send off, and then if you don't get your ticket, you have to wait till the tour's over and you get your money back. But at that point, they would have put that money in like a bank account and got some crazy stuff. And I think that was a Don King thing because there was 2 promoters that they were going to go with. And then the brothers wanted to go with Don King because there was more money in that. And then I think Michael never wanted to. And then some young girl wrote him a letter, and then he did a press conference and he was like, listen, I've asked them to stop this scam. And he said, I'm donating my money to charity. So his Victory fee went to charity or whatever.
Yeah, donated all his earnings from...
Benson's knows ball. He knows what time it is. So he donated all of his Victory money to charity. Benson's a walking fact machine. Right? I thought I knew facts. But you're right about them not doing Michael not doing a Thriller tour straight afterwards, because actually it just gave him time to. Because imagine what the music might have been different. Like a lot of Made Bad. Because also, if you think about that whole post Motown 25 Jackson link up, that's what gave us the Scalp Burn, all these things, which actually ultimately kind of precipitated his descent into pharmaceuticals and what have you, but actually I dare say helped inform the music in a certain way. Like there's a certain level of pain going into that. So I don't know, man.
I think the Bad Tour was probably his biggest and greatest tour, but you wouldn't have the Bad Tour if you did the Thriller tour, because the Thriller tour I think would have been, everyone would have gone to that. I don't think he would have put the same energy in the Bad Tour.
No, he probably would have made like $1 billion from a Thriller tour, like a solo Thriller tour. He would have, because he was the hottest thing ever. But I think I don't think we would have gotten Bad if he'd done a Thriller tour.
Yeah,
he would have toured Europe, he would have toured Australia and that type of stuff, and he probably would have been burnt out by that point.
Yeah,
but listen, we got the Bad Tour and we got Moonwalker out of it, all of it, man.
It's
never made.
Yeah. So did you ever see? I mean, did you ever see Mike? I never. As I said, I moved to the US and he never toured during the 10 years I lived in the US. And when I moved to the UK, he stopped touring.
Yeah, I had a good friend when I was younger, Mark Portelli, and I remember when they did the history tour. I remember Mark went. I remember I was saying to my mum, I just want to go. I want to go. Mum was like, tickets for Michael Jackson? No. And I remember Mark went, and I was so jealous. He went with his mum and he was showing me the program. I was like, oh man, it was my only chance really. And then Ashley Waters actually got me tickets for This Is It.
Oh, I bought the tickets.
He got me This Is It tickets, and then and then Michael passed. I forget that day. Never forget that day. So long as I live, man. Terrible day.
We got tickets because we thought. Yeah, and we tried to get them as early as possible because we didn't know if he was going to be able to do the rest of the tours, the dates. But yeah, I mean, it's we never even got into the politics of the fact that he owned half of Sony Music and he had the most powerful catalog in the world, which he refused
Yeah,
to sell.
and then he kind of because people talk about that and don't give Branca the credit because Branca secured that deal.
But he told him to do it though. It's his money. It's like
No, he
get me
did.
the
No, he did. And Branca went out and got that, you know what I mean, and all that, and business acumen, because people discount Michael's business acumen, like because of the Peter Pan aesthetic.
yeah, but
He was a genius with that. But what with all genius, there's also that side that has the propensity to do insane things, like him refinancing that deal because he had he had Alton Towers in his back garden, you know, because
yeah.
he had Chessington World of Adventures in his back garden.
Yeah, he was a multimillionaire living the life of a billionaire, and I
In
think
it precisely, and like that's the golden goose. So refinancing that for like half a billion with Sony, they were just rubbing their hands like, yep. So it's so funny because in 20 or in 100 years time, you'll look at the Sony ATV catalog and just be like, oh, there's this publishing thing called Sony ATV, and not know that that came from a man called Michael Jackson from Gary, Indiana, taking the taking Northern songs, the Beatles' Northern songs, combining that and with his own thing, and it's a fascinating story.
yeah,
It's a shame that in life that like those excesses, he had a lot of people around him not saying like, oh no, he wouldn't listen to the people that said don't do this and advised him well, and he just got rid of them. And that's the dangerous thing. It's the Emperor's New Clothes where like you kind of need someone around you to tell you your breath stinks. It's as simple as that. If you stay with sycophants or yes people, because there's so many people like that oscillate Michael's like his retinue, like hangers on, people that like don't have his best interests at heart, and you're like, you just want to keep some real day ones. But the problem is, if you've been famous since day one, where are your day ones? He didn't have no kids his age or whatever. Like if your best friend growing up was like David Geffen, not David Geffen, David Guest rather, David Guest, people like that, like look, he just didn't have no one able to
no one who because he was spending more than he was bringing in, and it took to him dying not spending money for his estate to be worth over 2 billion and stuff like that.
And it's sad because he's not here to see how much he was loved and like respected. And obviously he got that in life. He saw the chaos of it. He saw the fan kind of mayhem, the pandemonium, but actually to know that there's still people, like you constantly see it on Instagram timelines or Twitter, people being like, yeah, I'm drinking, just another day of realizing Michael Jackson's not here, just stuff like that. But also just on a real, like to be real about it, like we talk about the energy, to know that your energy lives on in a positive, beautiful way, and to know that your DNA is in everything we do. Like the DNA. I mean, look at this thing in back of me. This a military outfit. The man knew how to dress. The man knew how to dress. Like C-style. Like the man knew how to dress. He just had it, man. And like people will spend their whole life hoping for a scintilla.
Well, that's why when people got upset with Jay-Z saying that Beyonce's done Coachella, so she's surpassed Michael, and it was like, wait a minute.
Look, but in fairness to Jay-Z, he's got to ride for his wife. Like I want to ride for my wife exactly like that, and he has to ride for his wife like to that degree. But it's different eras, and I've seen Beyonce live like 3 times, and it's incredible. It's incredible and all of that good stuff, and it really is incredible. But Michael is Michael, and Jay-Z. I love Jay-Z, but Jay-Z knows that. Beyonce is the closest thing we will get to that level of perfection and execution. She just but her DNA comes from that.
She's always
and it's like we can say Michael got a lot from whether it's Fred Astaire, we got Jackie Wilson, He got stuff from moves from Joe Tex, like because when he was doing that thing, he was studying skinny girls, skinny legs, and all. James Brown, but they never took it to the stratosphere. They never took it to Jupiter. They never took it to Jupiter. Michael was the first and the only one to take it to that point of where a person's personal brand is as big as a wholesale item, as like Coca-Cola or whatever. You go to Papua New Guinea where they don't even speak English, or like they've got these secluded cultures. You know who Michael Jackson is.
Yeah.
And we'll never see that again because of the death of monoculture. We'll just never have that level again. But it's not that Michael Jackson was doing it and he was whack. He was the nicest at this.
Yeah.
Moonwalked. Other people can pop, lock, but you're not Mike. I see that there's the thingy conversation, the Chris Brown conversation.
Chris Brown.
And no, and it's a good conversation, and like respect to Chris Brown because he's talented, all of that stuff. But I see Chris Brown as more being the successor to Bobby Brown than being Michael's direct thing. He can dance, all of that type of stuff. He's good, but he's not Mike, and he knows that. And I think like he knows that, and and he's very respectful about it. But Michael is a one of one.
Yeah, no, as I said, I think. Chris Brown has even come close to Usher. You're talking about
Usher. Look to me. Look, I was watching the Super Bowl thing the other day, and like only Usher can do that. Chris Brown couldn't do Super Bowl.
Yeah.
He just couldn't. He doesn't have the records that do that thing, and he's got some amazing records. I don't want Chris to come for me, please. I don't want any problems. But Usher is the only one that could do that, because Usher also, here's the other thing. It's not just the music, it's the stuff surrounding the music. Now, Michael's controversies, inverted commas, came after he was Michael. Chris's unfortunately happened on the ascent, and he had to reinvent what he was doing at a certain point. But with Usher, like Confessions was a blockbuster album, and I would take Confessions over Justin Timberlake's Justified. I would take Confessions all day over Justified, because Usher was black. You see what I'm saying? No, I'm just being really honest about it. It's like we give so much credence to Blue Eyed Soul, and it's great, it's amazing, do your thing. But like, I'll be damned if I'm not supporting Usher's doing. And JT's cool. Like JT's cool, but you're not messing with Usher Raymond, man.
Yeah.
From Nice and Slow to even before that, the first album, like Think of You.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I mean? Like, he's got bangers, and so Usher was rightly in Michael's lineage in the right way of like, this guy could do the Super Bowl on his own, mind you.
Yeah.
And he had some features, but it wasn't like Usher featuring Fergie from the Black Eyed Peas or Usher featuring Kendrick. It was Usher, I want to bring my friends in, but I'm headlining.
Yeah.
Usher was very much in that Michael tradition.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, definitely. And I guess the final thing is that everyone talks about the Super Bowl halftime show, but it's hard to imagine Michael's performance in 2019. That's what 1993 was the first performance they decided to go with the biggest person, and when he stood up, I thought, okay, I was like, oh, how's he gonna get from up there down there? And when he got up there, then he came up in the middle, and I thought, that's a statue. And the director says, they only had 10 minutes for the performance, and Michael's standing there for a minute. So it was like,
I think they've released the footage of him being like, Michael, go on, Michael, come on.
Because he's standing, he moves his head. I go, oh, that's really him. I mean, it was epic. And so that's us, guys. We have gone through, we did our 5 albums. AK decided to go from, as they were released, other than History. So that was Off the Wall, Thriller, Bad, you went history, and you
I went
went
dangerous. I went dangerous, then
dangerous,
history, and then invincible,
invincible
and
at
blood on
number
the
five.
last.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so he went in that direction. I went for thriller, dangerous, off the wall, um, invincible, and then bad. And then we went through our 12 favorite songs. I Can't Help It was your number one,
That was my number one. Yeah.
and I
The
had The Lady in
Invincible's
My
my-
Life.
Yeah. I want to
And
get. Yeah.
yeah, and so and then we had our honorable mention and stuff. So I'm guess for those who just joined late, you can always watch the replay and stuff. My interview with AK Akemnji is coming out the first after Christmas, as he's got a new season 2 of the BBC comedy Black Ops coming out on the 5th of January 2020.
8th of January. 8th of January.
8th of January, so 8th of January. I Will it be in America? Will it be on BBC
It
America?
will land on Hulu at some,
Hulu.
because series 1 went out on Hulu. So
Okay.
those who haven't seen it, my American brothers and sisters, go watch it on Hulu or wherever you may find it.
Yes, yes. So that's Black Ops, and you can also look for Famalam as well. That was one of his first created variety shows. Ran for 3 seasons of 3 years here on the UK in the UK as well. This would not be the last that we're going to come and do something live. And so probably after Black Ops has come out, he'll come back on, and we'll find something else to chat about, because we didn't even talk about his own music,
We
albums and stuff
didn't.
like that.
We didn't. But hopefully, if the chat isn't like bored of me or just like,
No, goodness gracious, no.
guy doesn't stop talking, well, he's
Yeah,
shut.
no. We probably would find. We definitely will find another way of honoring Mike and music differently.
Yeah.
Yeah, 10 songs Michael should have sang on, something, yeah,
Whatever. But
something like that.
maybe when I'm back on, like, we'll have some of my music to
Yeah,
present,
yes.
talk
So
about that.
I would say that once the series has dropped and it's out, and to keep it out there, we will then come back on live and just talk about the reception of Black Ops 2, and hopefully you guys can get to watch it. And if in the States, it should be on Hulu. Check out season 1. And then in the UK, anything on BBC. It's coming on BBC One on this 8th of January.
Amazing. Thank you so
Yes.
much.
So, guys, hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed our trip down memory lane. We've been on for 2 hours and 40 minutes.
Wow.
Live. Benson, a DJ all day. Sabrina, Tony, Jay, yes. All you guys, Dio, you've been on there. Everyone that's been out there. Yeah, great that you guys, okay. There's some good comments coming in. Big fan, great to have you on.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Big up.
I'm a new fan. I follow you, and
Oh,
I'm
that's sweet.
following him on everything. Yes.
Sweet. You guys have been teaching me some stuff. So I'm gonna actually look out for that Seeing Voices, the Ray Charles thing, because you taught me something new. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
learn.
Yeah. I mean, it's just so much stuff, and maybe I'm going through the ultimate. There's the 4-disc CD. I'm just going through that now. The
Oh, I
ultimate.
have that right here. You're talking about? You mean this one?
Yes. Yeah, I think there are 4 CDs on there. 4 discs.
Yeah.
I'm just going through it right now, and I'm just going through it right now, and yeah, and he did all the music on his shows. So if you ever see any of his shows, he did all the music and stuff. I think he did stuff with Ashley Waters. Was that?
We actually released a single. Like, we've got this year. It's called Proud. We've got so much music and stuff that we've done over the years, but we just have never really dropped it. So but we dropped a single called Proud, which came out. It's like a Mother's Day song, so that's actually on all the DSPs, so play that. And I produced that, and I'm singing on the chorus. Yeah, so go listen to that. It's a good song.
Okay. And so what did you actually wrote and his part in?
Yeah, and then I produced the song and I sang the chorus. So the music is me, and the raps are Ashley's, but it's a song about his mum. So it's like a Mother's Day anthem.
Wow.
Yeah. So go listen to that. It's a good song.
Okay. Yes, and we can get it on. You didn't do video for you guys. You guys didn't do video.
We did. I think he made like a lyric video of it or something like that. But it's on the DSP. So go listen. Like just type in Proud Ashley Waters or Proud Akemnji, my government name, and it'll be there, man. Go listen to it.
Okay.
So, a nice song. Being that it's Sunday, it's coming up to Sunday for us in the UK. It's a nice song to play on Sunday. It's wholesome.
Okay.
It's a wholesome song. Make you feel good.
Yes. Okay. All right, guys. It is 10 minutes to midnight over here. So we will see you guys very soon in the new year as well.
Thank you so much for having me, Namdi, man. It's been a good chat.
This has been great. But we still didn't do your halftime chat music edition, so that will be our part.
We'll do it whenever you're ready, man. We'll do it. We'll do it.
Yes.
I like to talk Bob Hoskins style. It's good to talk and all that.
Yeah. No, and it's good, as I said. But most of us everyone who's been tuning in are big Michael fans and stuff, and so being able to take part in this chat and stuff has been great. All right, guys. So we'll see you and talk to you in a new time.
All right.
All right.
Bye.
Take it. Bye. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for being a part of Halftime Chat. Please remember to subscribe, share, and comment. But most importantly, why don't you become a member of Halftime Chat? We've got amazing videos, amazing perks, and being able to support the channel. But anyway, thanks for watching. Take care.
I never participated in that category.
And somewhere in between
us, or even loving us, on which I did miss you.
What was it like growing up?
Music is still making an impact on 4 houses down.
I have a couple pieces.
I didn't get this one and that one.
That works for you, but just for me,
No. Okay,
They don't understand what Jonas' voice meant.